Testing, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Can you guys hear me? We got the sub by Jusjo. Who's Hoshin? Jusjoshin. There you go, man. Thank you very much. The boys. Awesome. What about you guys in YouTube? Can you guys hear me? There you go, Comic Caper. Awesome. That's great. Whew. I had to go get a glass of water because it's gonna be an interesting stream. How is my leg recovering? It's recovering well. I still have a little bit of a pain, especially when I rotate it, which is a little bit weird, but I'm working on rehab and, exercises. It seems like it's not the bone anymore, it's the muscles that are not how they were before the accident, so I need to work a little bit on that. But all good. We got Becker Draw, we got Open, Scott Lee Samuels, Lord Tellum as well, there we go. Awesome. We're gonna be starting very soon, guys. Very, very soon. Open is from Tajikistan. Oh my god, I can't pronounce that. Tajikistan? Tajikistan. Nice. Tajikistan. Central Asia. See. Okay. See, this is one of the things that I love about this. I get to know people from all over the world. I'm very ignorant about geography, so I didn't even know that this one existed. But that's great. Yeah, it's on the north side of Afghanistan, it seems. Okay, yeah. Cool. Yeah, the other day I was talking with a student that was from Nepal as well. We got Becker Draw from a Mexican in Italy. Nice. FAQs says, Sup, I have a question. What is a good way to learn environment design now that all the mega scans are open to get until end of 2024? Mega scans were open to get even before that. There's been a big of a sort of what's the word? Miscommunication, I think, by the part of the team, but it's not that it's going away. They're just gonna change where they're gonna be sort of like sharing those assets. The new assets are the ones that you're probably gonna have to pay for. But at least from what I've seen, there's what's the word? There's most of the ones that are free now will be free once they do the change. So. What's a good way to learn? Okay, so here's my take on it, FAQs. There's a big difference between being like a level designer, where you know how to control the flow of the level, right? Where the player should go, where interesting things should be and stuff like that. That it is to be someone who's in charge of the creation of the assets for the level itself, right? So if you want to learn about environment design, like where to place things, how to place things, and elements like that, my advice is try to learn a little bit more about game development, right? Because you're going to learn about what kind of like needs the players have, what kind of expectations they need, or they need to be you need to meet on the level, stuff like that. It's a little bit more of a theory concept, not too much actual like technical work. If you want to be a 3D environment artist, who is the one responsible of creating the assets, right? The plants, the buildings, the terrains, all that sort of stuff, then yeah, you need to learn like the pipelines to create those things. But even though both can do both things, right? Like environment artist could learn how to do environment design, and an environment designer could potentially learn how to do 3D environment art. In big productions, like in big studios, it's usually two separate departments or two separate people. One is in charge of creating the assets, and the other one is in charge of placing and designing the environment with those assets. Have you heard of Full Sail University? If so, do you have any thoughts about the school? Yes, I've heard it. I've seen some good stuff from it, to be honest. I know that it's not, especially in the US, it's not the top school out there. Like there's other schools that are really, really good. I myself graduated from Noman in 2016, so Noman has been one of the top schools for 3D for the past decade, or if not more. So yeah, but I've heard good things about Full Sail. Like it's one of the good ones, I would say, because there's some others out there that are not that very good, and I'm not gonna name names, but unfortunately there's a lot of universities, not only in the U.S., by the way, this also happens here in Mexico and pretty much everywhere, that tell you that they're gonna teach you the things that you need to know, and at the end they really don't teach you anything. So yeah. Comic Caper, are you available for one-on-one consulting? Yes, I do have a couple spots open, Comic Caper. So if you want to know a little bit more about that, make sure to send me a DM on Discord, and I'll share the information with you. There's usually 1 hour one-on-one sessions. We go over anything that you need, to cover, and yeah, we go from there. Some people have like weekly meetings, others like to have bi-weekly. It depends. Some only have one meeting to like clarify a couple of questions that they might have, but yeah, we do have that. What do you think about Enotria, the last song? I have not played. If it's a game, I have not played the game. And we got our first ban of the day. Awesome. I'm gonna ban him. We're gonna ban Arteria Clarinetiste. Where is it? Banhammer. Boom. There we go. He was promoting some cheap viewer somewhere. We don't care about that. There we go. Online school, Noman School of Visual Effects. It's in Hollywood. Well, now they're in North Hollywood, I think. They do have online stuff. I didn't take the online classes. I went there physically, or I had like an actual classes there. So, but yeah, that one's. What's a good job for an ADHD artist who wants to get into the 3D industry, but I want to avoid the competitive job market? Indie studios, man. Like, if you want to avoid the competitive stuff, indie studios are an amazing place to work. I've been doing a lot of indie stuff in the past couple of years, and to be honest, it's to me, it's one of the best balances you can find, because the community is very chill. Like, the people who work there is very chill. The stakes are a little bit lower, right? Like, you still need to do your job and do a good job about it, but the stakes are a little bit lower, and there's not as much pressure or competitiveness as you say in the AAA market, right? So indie studios, very, very good way to make a living, to be honest. I'm about to buy your advanced ZBrush character creation course on Udemy. That one, JP 3D Live, that one's from Nextut. If you want to support me, because I'm no longer at Nextut, make sure to check my website. On my website, aveleal3d.com. I'm gonna link it here on the YouTube chat. That's where I got the newest stuff. It's also more updated than those ones, so you might want to check that one. I have the stylized character creation course. That one's a ZBrush as well. We do an Oni character. It's been very cool. And I also have the anatomy course. That's the most recent one with Duncan, the superhero. And those they might even be cheaper than the ones on Udemy, I think. Yeah, we don't use Udemy anymore. They take a very big chunk, very, very big chunk out of the courses, unfortunately. Oh, I didn't even realize we were already on the what's the word, on this thing right here, on the starting soon. So let's go. What's up, guys? Hello, welcome everyone. Happy Friday. It's Casey right here saying happy Friday to Casey, Milkmaster, Night Shadow, Juan Geratatu, Not That Guy, Shine of the Sun. There you go, there you go. We got a bunch of people here on the stream today. We need to wait a couple of minutes, okay? David just messaged me and said he is a little bit late, and I want to make sure he is here for the big announcement, okay? So it's going to be a couple of minutes, but we're live, so if you have questions, let's start working on that, and we're going to be going over there. There's a very good question right here on by Maggot McFly. Udemy versus Domestika versus Kriana. To be honest, I have found more success having my own platform than any of those other platforms, because it allows me to condense all of the information in just one place. It's not that they're bad platforms because they allow you to reach a really big audience. But again, the taxes and the cuts that they take and stuff like that can definitely make it hard, especially if you want to do this as full-time or close as full-time as I'm doing. So it's one of those things that you need to sort of like value how much you want to grow in certain aspects. And for us in particular with this project, we found that having our own site was the best way to go. There's another thing that I don't like about Udemy. All of this is available information, by the way. So all of the things that you sell through 1 month in Udemy, they pay you 2 months afterwards. So if I sell one course today on Udemy, they're gonna pay me that course until November. So you guys know, especially if you've ever owned a business, that having that large of a gap between payments and like not enough flow in the money, so like a machine, can be tricky, right? Because if you need to invest in something, if you need to pay something, and you don't have that money, it's definitely a little bit yeah, it takes a while. It's technically 30 months. So what they do is they save up all of the sales that you do for the month. So September is about to end, right? So any sales that we made during September, they're gonna pay us on November. So at the first couple of days on November. But if you sold, let's say you had a big event at the beginning of September and you sold whatever, $500. Those $500 are not gonna be available until all the way in November. Wolf Girl, there you go. Thanks for the gift. And Chimochi, you got the gift, my friend. So you should now be a sub here on the channel as well. We do have, some people don't know about this, but on the Discord channel, if you're a sub on Twitch, there is a special sort of like area for Twitch subs as well. There we go. Kripa B from Nepal. Awesome. Are your one-on-one reasonable for someone with not a lot of money? Well, that's a great question. I mean, the value of things can be quite subjective, right? However, if you ask people who have taken my mentorships, I'm sure there might be some right here. Most of them, I think, or probably all of them, will tell you that they're worth your money. So if you want a little bit more information on Fixie, I can send it to you. I mean, it's not like, again, like secret information or anything. It's just 1 hour session. I give you homework. We keep in touch through Discord, so I help you out with the stuff. And there you go. Is your camera focusing the background? Your face kind of blurry than those. It might be. Yeah, let me check that. That should be better, right? Yeah, unfortunately, the camera, it does have autofocus, but since I'm wearing glasses, I don't know, it freaks out all the time. It's just like moving up and down. Do those panels do work for... Yeah, they do work very nicely. I have 15 panels on this wall right here. Behind the camera, there's a wall, so I have 15 panels there. I got another like 20 panels on this side right here. I got a couple more panels over there. Yeah, they do work. Like if you just have 3, no, it's not gonna do anything, right? But if you're gonna have like a bunch of them, they really help isolate the sound. Another thing that's important for those of you that want to do like sound recording and things like that, a good microphone. I used to have a Blue Yeti, which was not bad, but it's a different type of microphone that captures sound from everywhere. Even if you change the things, it's just like very sensible to that sort of sound. This one right here, this is a Shure M57, I think, or something like that. We're not sponsored or anything. It's just we actually got this one was a gift from someone earlier this year. Here on Twitch, he donated. What was his name? Stiefelbauer. He was the one who gave us the donation to buy this microphone. And this one only receives sound from straight down the microphone. So if you go over here, for instance, you can see that the sound really dies down. And if I go here, you're gonna see or listen to my voice very clearly. So this one's really good. I really struggle with clots on my characters. Any advice to help me get better? That's a great question, GP3D. It depends on what kind of clothing you're doing. Let me go. Let's go here. So if we are looking, for instance, I always use Uncharted 4. So if we look at Uncharted 4, right, this is realistic clothing that you're looking for. That you want to have real like seams and wrinkles and all that kind of stuff. If you're going to be doing this sort of things, you definitely need to use something like Marvelous Designer. Can you sculpt something like this in ZBrush, like by hand? Yes, but it's going to be 1,000 times easier if you just use Marvelous Designer to create a base for your clothing, for your character, and then you switch to, what's the word, to ZBrush to add a little bit more detail. And Wolf Girl, thank you for the bits, my friend. Thank you very much. This one's, again, very, very, like, intricate. However, if you're doing, I don't know, like League of Legends, or not League of Legends, let's go Fortnite characters, because League of Legends is more hand-painted, yeah. So if you're doing this kind of clothing right here, this is a sculpt. This is all about sculpted cloth. Like, you're not going to be using Marvelous Designer for this kind of things. And in this cases, what you really need to do is you need to study how cloth behaves. Where are you going to find most of the folds? There's some folds that are called, I'm going to share with you a very good resource here. So George Bridgman has a book called Drawing the Draped Figure. This one right here. You should be able to find this for free online because I believe the copyright is now gone. And he explained these types of things. The pipes, the zigzags, the half lock, the drop, the spirals. And he explains how those behave on the figure. So this little book, it's a very small book, very, very short book. If you do those exercises just to learn a little bit about how cloth behaves on a human body, you're going to be able to understand where to place all of these things right here. Like the big like wrinkles and the big forms of more complex like pieces of clothing. No. Marvelous Designer is not difficult to learn at all, my friend. And I hate when this becomes like a commercial, but I do have a course about it. So this one right here. So this one's called Introduction to Marvelous Designer. It's like 10 hours, I think. 7 hours. There you go. 7 hours of content. And we do this Plague Doctor. I show you how to do pretty much every single part of the suit except for the mask. The mask is available on the live streams on YouTube. Because we did that with sculpting and other stuff, but we do the full like Plague Doctor, and we cover all of the important things that you need to know about marbles. So there you go. Let's see, Kevin Bowens, what's up, my friend? Welcome. David is not here yet. We're actually waiting for him so that we can announce the new contest, the new community event. No, we haven't announced it, Vishal. We're waiting just for David. We probably have to wait just like 5 or 10 more minutes. Let's see. Hi, Ave. Good to see you. I'm looking to buy a pen tab with display for ZBrush and digital paint. The Huion reviews are pretty good. Can you suggest from your end? Yes, of course. So right now I have this one right here. This is the Huion 13 Pro. Here you go. Let's see. Leal 3D Huion. So that was from last year. Where is it? Huion 2024. This one. So I did this review on on February, right? You can check the link right here. It's on the review. And there's a bunch of different like products. Again, this is the one that I have right now. This is the one that I'm using. I know it's pricey, like 339 euros. It's not something that you just like throw it and that's it. But it's a really good one, to be honest. If I had to suggest any other ones, I would probably go with the 16 as well, like the 16 inches. I normally don't like working with bigger tablets. I feel like they are a little bit too overwhelming, especially for my desk space. I don't like, and I don't recommend going smaller. Like this Canvas 12, for instance, I feel like that it really reduces things quite a bit. Now, if your budget is a little bit on this smaller size, I would recommend this one right here. Like the Inspiro Frego or the Inspiro Giano. Any of these Inspiro ones are really, really good. We haven't had the announcement, guys. We're waiting just for David. We're going to have the announcement in just a couple of minutes, okay? So just a little bit of patience. I'm sure you guys are going to love it. So, really worth this course, Anthony says. For any recommendation about this course, we need to DM you, Abe. What do you mean, recommendation, Anthony? Like if you took the course, you can go on the what's the word, interface there on the site, and there should be an option to write a review. That really helps. But yeah, 16. I agree, Casey. 16 is one of like the perfect sizes for a tablet. I really like this 13 one because again I have a lot of stuff here. I got like the audio interface. I got my keyboard. I got my this little thing right here, which is, let me see if I can show it to you. There's little like extra buttons that I use for recording and some like macro stuff. So my desk gets very cluttered, even though it's a big desk. So the 13 inches is really good. Do you think it's worth the upgrade from my normal graphics tablet to a screen one? Ooh, that's a great question, Mustafa. If you're doing sculpting only, then I mean, it's a nice thing to have, but it's not a must. For 10 years, like, no, not 10 years, probably like 8 years, I had an Intuos Pro, a Wacom Intuos Pro with no screen, and that was a freaking beast. Like, I used it all throughout my school. I used it when I graduated. It was my go-to tablet. So, it's you can definitely do really, really cool stuff with that. I think that the displays are very nice to have. They look very professional and very cool. And nowadays they've been getting more and more cheaper. So if you can afford it, go for it. But it's not required. What are good brands for those finger grills? I don't know, man. I got these ones from AliExpress. So I got like 5 of them for like $5 or something like that. It's just like, you don't need a brand. Like, literally don't pay more than $2 for one of these things right here. They're handy though. Like, if you can like get them, it's really, really cool to have them. But I just got some cheap ones from Amazon. Well, I did AliExpress. Amazon was a little bit pricier, but yeah, they're just called tablet gloves or something like that. So yeah, I feel like having a display tablet. Yeah, it's definitely preference. Like, you can definitely decide which one works best for you. If you're gonna be doing a lot of drawing, like if you're gonna be painting a lot of stuff, or drawing, right, concept art, 2D stuff, even substance painter, I do think it's better to see where your stroke is going rather than having to learn the muscle memory to properly draw things like without seeing your hand. But other than that, it's just a preference. Like, this is something very important. I'm gonna go full screen with this. The tools that you have won't make you a better artist. I've had students who have like 5K computers with the best possible components, the best like toys and things for their like art career, and since they don't learn the fundamentals and they don't learn the things that they need to do, like, doesn't really matter. And I've had students who are working on a 10-year-old laptop doing amazing things. So the tools will make some of the work easier, but at the end of the day, you as the artist and the things that you know as an artist, your skills, your knowledge, your experience, that's what really transfers through those tools. You can give the most sophisticated, like again, computer setup to a beginner artist, and he's not going to be able to produce something of quality. And the same thing can be said. You can give a very basic computer to an expert, and they're going to be able to create something that's really, really cool. Do Wacom tablets have less driver issues than Huion XP? Yes, Anjana, I would say so. Like, a couple of the bad things about the Huion is the drivers can sometimes mess up. That's a little bit uncomfortable, to be honest. It's not great, but for the price, I mean, the price is really freaking good. Do you find the display has less stress on the hand? I get carpal tunnel sometimes. I haven't gotten to carpal tunnel, so I wouldn't be able to say. What I've seen some people do, I don't have it right now, but what I've seen some people do is they'll get their tablet, let me see if I can move it, and they'll buy like a stand that goes in here so that they can do like a very natural sort of like position. I normally am just like this, so drawing down towards the tablet. I guess it depends on your posture and how you do it. Get Checkout says, love your content. Hey, please do more 3D miniatures. Have I shown you guys? This is a miniature that I painted. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to zoom in real quick. This is from Artisan Guild. I didn't sculpt this one, but I really like painting as well. It's kind of like one of those things that I do to have some relaxing time. So this is a dwarf, and yeah, our monitor, right? That's what I was mentioning. But yeah, we'll do some miniatures soon. Tommy Copper. Oh, that's an interesting idea. Let me Google that. So Casey here is recommending Tommy Copper wristband. Interesting. Oh, it's like a compression thing. Okay. Interesting. I'll have to review one of this. To be honest, I think I've taken good care of my hands and I haven't had this problem, but I know it's a relatively common problem for the artistic industry. It's Keto. What's up, man? Hello and welcome. Any ergonomic advice for don't get troubles on our bodies? Move is like I've talked. I have a very good friend of mine. He's in Italy right now, and he's a physiotherapist. And the best advice is just move. Like the problem with posture is that we get to like used to being in the same posture or position for long periods of time. And if you do that, it oh, by the way, this is the armband that Casey was recommending. If you're in the same position for a long time, that's what like messes you up. So I have the advantage, the luxury, if you wish, the good luck of working from home. That means that I can just like literally stand up every hour, go for a glass of water, go to the bathroom, check on the family, come back, and just keep working. So those movements really help. I try to move quite a bit. This studio is on the second floor, so every time I move, I need to go down the stairs, come up back the stairs. So I feel like that that really helps me. But yeah, try to just move. That's it. If you can exercise, that will be pretty cool. No, the Oni is not new. This is indeed the Oni. Let's go full screen. So this is the Oni from the Oni course. I printed this on February when we got the Saturn 3. As part of the review, I wanted to try if I could print it as a single piece, solid object. Like this is not hollowed out, and what's the word? And yeah, it just works very, very nicely. I definitely need to paint this guy, so it's probably gonna be something different. So yeah, but yeah, this is the Oni. It's clean. It's clean. It just has like that white residue is when I didn't clean it properly and it cured. So now I just need to paint over it. Let's see, we got another questions here. It says, I have a good knowledge in organic modeling or character modeling, but poor in hard surface modeling. What can I do? Well, learn it, man. Like you can start learning about hard surface modeling. My best advice is always start with simple things. So for instance, a gun is usually a good thing. A grenade is a great exercise. And then you can go for something a little bit more interesting, like armor pieces or like helmets. I would say like the top stuff would be like this, or like organic hard surface things, like Iron Man and things like that. So that sort of stuff works. I used to have a standing desk, Casey, for a long time. I didn't like it, and I don't like it because since I stream quite a bit and I record and all that stuff, I had to move things every single time. It was just like, nah, that's too much for me. But I know they're good. Like I know they're a good option as well. Yes, Lord Tellum, a little bit of sanding can also, if you just prime over it, like it's not gonna be that much of a difference. Do you happen to have a video or some advice on how to sculpt little details or ornaments in ZBrush? I'm struggling to find a workflow for engravings. Yes, I do. There's one I did with masks. Give me 1 second. It's a Leal 3D ZBrush. I actually think it's called ZBrush Ornament. This one, yeah, there you go. How to create ornaments and other details in ZBrush. So this one is a technique. It's not the only technique. There's multiple ways to do it. It actually has to do with the plague doctor, and it's about using masks. So you use a mask, and then you project that mask in, you design your mask in Photoshop in this case, and then you use this mask to project it on the surface in ZBrush. Again, you can check it. Just look at it as how to create ornaments and other details in ZBrush. Vaca Loca says, hey man, ¿puedo comprar el Oni course y hacerlo en ZBrush iPad? Yes, you can buy the Oni course and do it in ZBrush for iPad. You might want to wait for next week, because something might be coming about ZBrush for iPad. But yes, it can be done. There's a couple of things that won't be transferable, especially CModeler, because we don't have the CModeler brush in ZBrush for iPad. So there might be a couple of things that you won't be able to do with CModeler, but there are ways to do them with... what's the word? With the other ZBrush. Yeah, where's Sarn, right? We're waiting for him. Everyone's like, David, we need you, man. Let's see. No, the event has not been announced, Moose. We're waiting for Sarn. I got it here. It's right here. Everything is here. All of the information is here. But and we're gonna go over them. We're gonna answer questions, but we just need to wait for David. Okay, guys. Let's see. I'm completing your only course almost done. Once it's done next Friday, I will submit a word. Please review. Thanks for your courses. Yes. So there's another important bit of information here. Give me one sec. There we go, Sarnis in the house. There we go. Okay, so before we move on to the announcement, guys, because someone was asking about this. If you go here to our Discord channel and you go to the 3D workshop, this is where you can submit your finished works for people to see, give you feedback, like just talk about how you did some things. It's a great place. It's kind of like a mini art station in here because there's so many cool things in here. And if you submit one of our courses, for instance, let me see if I can find one right here, like this one right here. As you can see, Samander, submitted his version of Duncan, the warrior that we did for the anatomy course. You will get a special title as well, okay? So you get a special title. I'm not sure if Samander has it already, probably not, but he's gonna get something like superhero or something like that. Same for the axe, same for the Oni. So there's a special like titles for when you complete one of the elements and post it here on the 3D workshop. Very well. Very, very well. You asked the question, I missed it. Is Substance Painter and Designer World getting updated version from Steam? Yes, definitely, man. From 2018, a lot of things have happened at FAQs. A lot of things, so you definitely want to do that. Yeah, I'm not sure why that happened, Lord Tellum. We're gonna check it out because usually, links to channels should not result in a ban. But I'll talk. Well, Sarn and I will check it out, okay? So that doesn't happen again. Because yeah, usually, again, that does not or should not happen. Okay, cool. Okay. You guys ready for the announcement? You guys ready for this new event that we're gonna have? Well, let's go, my friends. David, are you ready? Are you ready for the announcement? Let's go. Oh, that's not it. That was a different thing. Let's go. Okay, my friends. So, I'm happy to announce that here in the Abe Leal 3D community, we are preparing a new contest for everyone. May I present to you Creatures Unleashed. This is gonna be our new contest. We had a contest last year, if you guys remember. It was called Weapons of Legend, and it was inspired a little bit on the Blender course that we had, where you had to create not only your own weapon, but also a little bit of your story for this weapon. Well, the same thing is gonna happen now. We're gonna be doing a new contest based on several of the courses that we've been releasing, and this one's called Creatures Unleashed. So, let's take a look at it, shall we? The goal, the mission, you are to design and create your own creature and its story, okay? A little bit of a background story. You're gonna share it with the world, and hopefully you will win. Okay? All good right here? It's not Halloween related. That's a great question, Casey. That's a great question. It's not Halloween related, and I have a bunch of like FAQs right now, so that we're gonna go over a lot of questions that I'm sure people are gonna have. Okay, so let's go very quickly over the rules, and then we'll work on the questions, and we'll answer any question that you guys might have, okay? First of all, the rules. There's only, of course, one project submission per person. I will explain how the submission will work shortly. There's another section right here where I'll explain how this will do. Oh, the prices? You guys want to start with the prices? Let's do the prices. For the prices, for the treasure, for the big win right here, we're going to have 2 winners this time. 2 winners. One is going to be a judge's pick. I'm going to be bringing some of my friends and some of my acquaintances from the industry to evaluate what are the best possible creatures that are going to be created for this contest. And the other one is going to be a community pick. So you guys are going to be picking who the second winner is. For both of these winners, the price is 250 USD gift card. We're gonna figure it out. If you're in a different country, don't worry. We'll make sure you get 250 USD so that you can use them to buy a new tablet, to buy a 3D printer, I don't know, to buy more stuff for your 3D journey, whatever it is you need. And you're also gonna get a free course of your picking from all of the courses that we have on our website. And we're gonna have 3 finalists. These 3 finalists will also get a free course of their picking, and one-on-one session with me so that you can check any questions, we can go over your portfolio, we can learn about the specific technique you're looking for. So we're gonna see how we you can decide what you want to use your one-on-one session for, as long as of course it's 3D related, right? So that's it. We're gonna have 5 winners this time around. Again, 2 winners are gonna be the grand prize winners and 3 finalists. We are seeing, so you gotta stay tuned because there might be more stuff that gets added here. I won't promise anything, but we're seeing if we can get a couple of sponsorships here and there, and prices might even grow. But this is from the Leal 3D team to you guys. This is completely from our pocket, just going to make sure that we're creating an amazing competition for everyone. So that's the treasure. Let's take a look now at the rules. Yeah, no coffee date, man. No coffee date. So the rules. There's going to be just 1 project per submission. This project must be original work created for the event. You should not be grabbing one of your old characters and just resubmitting it. You should not be grabbing something that you did as a freelance work or something. No, it should be something that you create for this event. And we're going to clarify this on the FAQ. But if we find out that someone is, again, reusing assets like this, like just like submitting something that they've submitted before, it's going to be a disqualification. Okay, so the point of this contest, of course, is not only to make something amazing, it's also for us to learn and to grow and to just like improve as artists. So the best thing is for you to do a character from scratch or from zero, right? An original character. You're going to be submitting, this is very important. Pay close attention to this because we had some issues last time and I don't want to have any issues this time around. So I'm being as clear and as transparent as possible. We are going to be doing 3 renders that you need to submit. All those 3 renders should be 1920 by 1080 horizontal format. All of them, okay? If you do not submit in the proper qualifications, you will be disqualified, okay? You might have an amazing shot and you did vertical because you thought it was going to be better. Use vertical for your for your portfolio, for your socials, but for the submissions on this contest, for the submissions right here, it really needs to be 1920 by 1080 horizontal, like this composition that you're seeing right now. The first render, it's a presentation render. You can showcase your alien or your creature or your monster or whatever it is you want to do. I'm going to explain again the range that you can have. With post-production, you can add little lens flares, you can add a little glow, you can add this, you can add that, like, it's fine. It's a presentation render, it's your beauty shot, so you can do this and just, like, present it in the best possible way. You can, again, go crazy here. Of course, do it in a way that showcases your work in the best possible light, right? The second render is going to be a clean render. Saludos hasta Argentina, mi estimado. The second render is going to be a clean render. It should be a clay render. We have a free workshop available on the site if you want to watch it on how to prepare those sort of renders, but it needs to showcase as clean as possible the sculpture that you're going to be doing. And the third one is a proof render. This is literally a screenshot, like a print screen of your viewport with 3D text there that has your name and the name of the event. So it's going to be, for instance, Leal, Creatures Unleashed as 3D text, like in front of your character or your creature. Okay, this is important so that we know that it is your work and that you're not taking someone else's work and just like, again, plagiarizing and having it as your own. No safer work, so no nudity and no extreme gore. You can have a little bit of gore, like creatures can be scary sometimes, there can be a little bit of blood, there can be a little bit of something, but not extreme where it's like, you know, goes disgusting and it's difficult to showcase, especially because, again, YouTube and Twitch, they have certain, like, guidelines that we need to follow, so we're not gonna go extreme gore. You can probably think about, I was gonna say Doom, but Doom is quite gory, so Elden Ring sounds like a good sort of like ceiling on how gory you can get stuff. Okay, we're gonna be I'm gonna be answering questions soon. Okay, so we have again a huge fact. I have literally 3 pages of questions that I know we're gonna get, and if we don't get one of those, you can ask it here on the chat. So yeah, as I said right here, if you fail to adhere to any of these rules, you will be disqualified, okay? We're not gonna be like giving any sort of like leniency to anyone. If the rules are not followed, your submission will be disqualified. I'm sorry, we gotta keep it fair, and I wanna make sure that everything is, again, as transparent as possible. The deadline, this is very important, the deadline, October 30. There's going to be a Discord event that's going to be created soon. And in that Discord event forum, similar to the 3D workshop forum, you're going to create one post. And in that post, the only thing that needs to be there, actually, I forgot to add something here. This is important. We need story, 500 words max. There we go. You also need to create a little story, like the background of your character, where it's coming from, stuff like that. It's on the frequently asked questions, but I forgot to add it here. So on that post that you're going to have on Discord, you will only have 4 things. Only 4 things. If you have 3 things, disqualified. If you have 5 things, disqualified. If you add 17 things, disqualified. I'm sorry. We got to be like this time around, okay? So 4 things. Your clean render, your composition render, your proof render, and your story. That's it, okay? So my advice, wait probably until the final days before the contest ends, and then you create your stuff, you add everything, and you just wait. That's it. That's what you do, okay? So just 3 renders and your story. I'm doing 499.5 words. There you go. The live review will be the next day, which is going to be November 1st, or 2 days after. I'm really bad with dates. Let's see. 2 days after. So 2 days after the submission closes, which is October 30, 2 days after, on Friday the 1st, we are going to have the review. At this point, all of the submissions that did not comply with the rules will be disqualified. So your submission will not be seen on that specific live stream. If you don't see your submission on the live stream, that probably means that you failed on something. We either found that there was plagiarism, cheating, you submitted more than 3 images, your word count didn't match, like things like that. So make sure you follow the rules, okay? There are simple rules to follow, guys. And this is one of those things that David and I were talking about, which is, once you're in the industry, right? Like once you're working for a client, you cannot not do what the client is telling you to do. So if the client is giving you this specific indications of what they need, you need to make sure that you submit this specific things, okay? Now, for the story, don't worry, Casey. You don't have to write a book. You don't have to, again, like create like an amazing piece of content there. It's just a little bit of a story. Like where is he coming from? You might remember from the Duncan course, for those of you that have taken that one, that I just like told a little bit of a story about him throughout the course. So that's the kind of stuff that I want. Just like a very brief summary of where you think this character is coming from. We're going to go over that. Okay. So evaluation. We're going to be evaluating 5 different sort of like branches of the whole thing. We're going to evaluate the final render, the presentation. It's going to have up to 20 points. We're going to evaluate the sculpt, which is the clay render, like your forms, your anatomy, your proportions, silhouettes, things like that. That's the sculpt. Technical execution is how well you use the tools from the software, your render skills, your posing, again, your alphas or your textures, like all of these things right here. This is going to be the technical execution of the piece itself, right? Like how interesting it is. It doesn't necessarily mean, and this is very important, it doesn't necessarily mean that we need to see a lot of like amazing like shit and over the top. That's not what I mean. You can have a very simple, you guys remember the episode with SpongeBob where he's fighting against the Neptune King and making burgers, and SpongeBob makes like a very nice little burger while the other guy did like 1,000 burgers. That's what we mean by technical execution. You can do something simple, but if it's executed like nicely, cleanly, like everything looks good, you can have 20 points against someone that spent 2 weeks doing like a bunch of different things and the execution is lacking, right? So technical execution is how it shows. The story and background will give you another 20 points. And finally, the design and creativity of your piece, like how cool or how good of an idea this is. Now, as I explained, the submission, only 1 post is allowed. You're going to have your 3 images and the text. Let's add here the text or the story. So you're going to have your bead render, your clay render, your proof screenshot, and the text. That's it. You may share more of this stuff in the WIP channels. So if you go to the WIP channels again on the Discord and you want to share, you want to again get some ideas, get some inspiration, that's perfectly fine for it, for the contest. But for the final post that you're going to submit on the designated channel, only these 4 things as we mentioned. 3 images and the text. I hope I'm being clear enough. And I'm going to explain why. Imagine someone submits 3 images, the text, and then a wireframe render, and then all of the bakes, and then all of the full workflow, and all of that stuff, and things like that. it's very difficult for me as a judge, or for anyone else who's going to be judging, to not see that stuff and influence its decision on the piece, right? So we want to get rid of that sort of like extra information so that we can focus only on the piece itself. This will also give a little bit more of, again, like an even ground for everyone. So that's why if we see more things, it will be disqualified. Okay, now for the questions, because I know we're going to get a lot of questions. Let's go. First of all, what is a creature? Because we were having quite a bit of a heated fight, right, David, about what the creature was. Like, is this a creature? Is this not a creature? Should we do this as a creature? Should we allow this? Here's what the definition on the dictionary says. A creature is a fictional or imaginary being, non-human. So, is a lion a creature? No. If you do a lion is not a creature. But if you do a chimera, yeah, that's a creature because it has had more fantastical or imaginary, like fictionary things. Is a human a creature? I mean, again, technically yes, but no. In this case, we're not going to count a human as a creature. And that's the next question. Is a human with horns and scars a creature? The definition of a creature is very subjective. You can do a humanoid creature, however, your score in design and story might be affected. Be creative. An orc, a goblin, or just a basic one of this, or like gray aliens, might not be as appealing, so you might not get as many points, and therefore your chances of winning, if that's what you're looking for, might be lower. A robot is a robot. Yeah, exactly. A robot is not a creature. A robot is not a creature. What about a human with really, really long nails? My advice is, if you want to do a human that's like a monster human, right? Like Frankenstein or Dracula, try to really think about how you can change the concepts and make something a lot more interesting, okay? Here, I'm going to give you some examples. There we go. So, if we look for Frankenstein concept art, there's going to be some Frankensteins that are really traditional Frankensteins, like this one right here, which is, again, not bad. But this one definitely looks more like a creature, right? Or if we go with this one, definitely looks more like a creature, something that's a little bit more intense. So my advice, again, if you want to have more points on the design aspect of things, try to think outside the box, okay? Let's see. What are examples of monsters? Aliens, monsters, beasts, demons, trolls, fantasy, sci-fi, noir, gothic. Role-playing games have literally thousands of ideas for monsters and creatures. Use them as inspiration and create your own. Again, remember, this is very important. If we see that you just copied someone else's, you're probably going to be disqualified. I want to help you guys develop that sort of like creative side of your brain where you use inspiration and you create your own version of things. So, hey, maybe you're a super fantasy fan and you want to do a goblin. Okay, cool. Do your version of a goblin. Don't do a World of Warcraft goblin. Don't do a Tolkien goblin. Like, really think, how would a goblin in your world or in your idea look like? And that could be potentially a good idea. Okay? Let's see. You described we can do post-production, but can I render on Marmoset before the post-production? Yes, of course. That's on one of the next questions. Let's see. Yes, all of this information, all of these images will be submitted to Discord so that you guys can check all of these elements. Why if I exceed resolution, I exceed the text, or I submit more than, it's not 2 pictures, it's 3 pictures. And the answer is, your submission will be disqualified. Only 3 images, 500 words max, and follow the rules. I think I've been clear enough about the rule stuff. We're gonna like really go there. A dragon is of course a creature. Next set of questions. Do I need to retopo and texture? It is not required. We're just looking at the images. We just want to see the ideas, the concepts, the presentation, the sculpts, okay? So it is not required for you to do the full pipeline. However, if it helps you, if you want to texture with substance, if you want to do so, use some of your tools and generate something that's a little bit better, if you want to transform this not only for the contest but also for a portfolio piece, you can do it. You're free to use those tools, you're free to do the full pipeline, but it's not required for you to do the full process. You could potentially just do like poly paint and the rendering inside of ZBrush with passes and things like that. That's fine. At the end of the day, we know it was going to be very difficult for us to make sure that everyone was using the same softwares and things like that. So that's why we're doing this. Can we use AI for concept art? I have that in the next frequently asked questions. So I'm gonna tell you. Yes, this video will be saved. Normally we wait for the rerun, but we'll probably save this video, or I'll probably do another video for tomorrow explaining again the contest. Okay. Is a modified human still suitable for competition? Yes, it is. But again, if you want to get better chances at creating something, like you can do something humanoid, that's perfectly normal or perfectly fine. But again, try to think outside the box would be my best advice. Can I use an existing IP like Marvel or DC? Like, let's say I want to do a new enemy for Spider-Man. It's going to be a Venom variant that's, I don't know, purple or whatever. I don't recommend it. It is not recommended because it won't be completely original. However, it won't cause a disqualification if you decide to do so, but do expect to get like reduced points on, again, design, originality, and the story, because you're not doing something that's original. You're just like piggybacking from something else. So if someone says, oh, I want to do a stylized version of the new villain for World of Warcraft, and I want to do hand-painted style and stuff like that, I mean, go for it, but you're using World of Warcraft. Why not just create your own little story about this big bad guy or whatever? That would be, again, my advice. Does it have to be a realistic style? Some of you guys had this question right here, and the answer is nope. Feel free to explore different art styles, genres. Like, you can do like a cute creature is also a creature. I know I have like two like scary creatures right here on the background because I don't do a lot of cute stuff. These are like some of my characters from the past couple of years. But if you want to do a cute creature, that would be great. Like, that's a very nice one. I was reading recently Dawn Shard by Brandon Sanderson, and then there's this little creature like a dragon, like a crystal dragon or something like that. That's a cool creature. Like, if you want to do a cool sort of like whimsical creature, go for it, because we're going to be evaluating your piece depending on the style that you get from. So yes, you can do different art styles. What about the spider with a human face? Yeah, that works. That could be something interesting. Fan art, as the question right says right here, can I use an existing IP like Marvel or DC? I'm gonna add the clarification. Fan art. It is not recommended, as it won't be completely original. However, it won't cause a disqualification, because I know people are really like, they really love their IPs, they really love specific worlds and things like that. So if you want to do that, you can. No, cute won't make you lose points. Creature is creature. Again, Teemo, right, from League of Legends, Teemo, he's a creature. If you do a creature like Teemo, awesome. If you do freaking like a demon from the 7th Hell, that's also a creature. So you can have whimsical creatures, you can have horror creatures, you can have, again, noir creatures, you can have a dinosaur mutation creature, you can have dragon creatures. Again, just think outside the box. It's a creature. The topic is just any type of creature, okay? We will, again, evaluate each creature based on the execution, the presentation, and the ideas. That's why we're giving more points to each element, so that we can have more room, again, to find which one is going to get the prizes at the end. How long should the story or background of the character be, or the creature? Roughly 2 to 3 paragraphs at most, maximum 500 words. 500 words should be more than enough to introduce and explain who this character is. Do you get extra points for props and environments if it adds to the story? Oh, that's a great question. I don't have that question. It's not going to give you extra points. It's also not going to be the main thing that we're going to be evaluating. Let me give you an example. So let's say you want to do a creature that's like, again, like a goblinoid creature, right? And you then build like a freaking amazing sword for this guy. He's like carrying this amazing epic sword, and the sword takes away, or they're sort of like sharing how important each one is. We're going to be evaluating the goblinoid creature, not the sword. So my advice, spend time on the creature. But if your creature needs chains and it needs like a couple of armor pieces and things like that, go for it. I don't really think you need to add that to the clean render, to the clay render. But if you want to do more stuff for the final composition render, sure, that helps. Let's see. Creature with 3 legs, yeah, that works. Yeah, exactly. As Burke is saying, guys, make your original creature. If I find time, I will join 2 airplanes. That's awesome, Burke. Can I go crazy as much as I wanted? Yes, of course. This is that's part of the objective of this one. Can we put it in the modified human category Space Marines too, which are really strong? No. Like superheroes and again, like modified humans, like Geralt from The Witcher, Superman, Spider-Man. Those are not creatures. Those are humans with superpowers. We're not doing that. So no. Those kind of stuffs are not part of the process. Can the character have 3 different poses or views on the clay render? Oh, that's a good question. That's a really good question. I have not considered that one, because I've seen some clay renders. I've mentioned this one before. What's his name? Alessandro Baldassaroni. So Alessandro Baldassaroni, for instance, in his clay renders, he sometimes does this, where he shows like multiple views of the same character. What do you guys think? What do you think, David? Should this be the clay render that we're looking for, like a clay render for multiple views? I think that might also help deter any people who are trying to steal content, because not everyone's gonna have access to all of the different views. So I think so. So let's do that modification, okay? Yeah, sounds nice. Yeah, exactly. Even a beginner should be able to do that. Yeah, oh yeah, there you go. That's excellent. Yes. So the third proof, or the proof of the character, where's the rules? There we go. Yeah, so this one right here, the proof render, we're gonna use that as the 3-view render. Okay, so it's not gonna be a clay render, but it's gonna be a 3-view render so that you show everything. I like that. I like that idea. See, that's why I wanted, because I thought about doing a video like last time, but I was like, nah, people are gonna have questions and then it's gonna be very difficult. So yeah, so the proof render is gonna be your viewport. You just duplicate your element 2 times, you rotate it a little bit, you add your 3D text there, and you screenshot it. That's what we want, just so that we can see again multiple parts of their character as well. Later on, again, or in the Weeps channel or in your portfolio, share as many renders as you want. But for the main post, only this 3 pictures and the story. Okay, let's keep going here on the FAQ. There you go. So this one was the other, yeah, this one. Can I submit the previous artwork? As I mentioned, no. Work must be an original submission that you create for the purpose of this contest. Again, this is for you. Like, I don't want, like, this is supposed to be a contest, not only, again, to have fun and improve as artists, but also for us to practice. So it doesn't really serve any purpose to just resubmit something that you already did. If we will be doing a little bit of an investigation, if you will, or something, to make sure that we're not getting any, again, plagiarism or any cheatings. So yeah, you probably don't want to risk it with this. Just do a new piece. It's good for everyone. It's a clay render, just a render without textures and effects. That's right, Dandy. It's just like a clean render, clay render, however you want to call it. Can I use base meshes? Can I use, let's say, can I use X software? You can use whatever you need, guys. Again, it's very difficult for us to sort of like control that people are only going to be using ZBrush or only going to be using Blender. So feel free to use as many things as you want. The one thing that I'm going to go against is grabbing something that's already done, like a finished 3D model, and just adding like 2 more horns to it and calling it yours, right? Like that's, again, plagiarism, and you're going to be disqualified if we find that that's happening. So how many people entered last event? I think it was like 40 or almost 50 submissions. Shizuma, thanks for the sub, man. Oh, there we go. I'm not sure why I was missing the chat. There we go. Can I use AI? Nope, you cannot use AI. You can use it for image enhancement. So if you do a render at, I don't know, like half HD and you want to like pump it all the way to full HD, or if you're, oh, there we go. We got one more. Oh, we got a hype train going. Thank you, guys. So Wolfie Girl, thanks for the sub as well. So if you need to remove a little bit of noise, if you want to use some sort of like AI to add lens flares or something like that, fine. But you should not be using any sort of AI for 3D generation. Thank you for the sub as well, Thumb. There we go. We're getting a lot of subs now. You can add hard surface armor or saddle. Yeah, you can add like props to your creature. That's fine. So no problem. Can I use AI for texturing in Blender? No. You like if we see that you're using AI as part of the process, as part of the creative process, we will not allow it. And you guys know the reason. There's 2 reasons to it. First, I want you to learn how to do things like the traditional way. And second, AI is actually taking from copyrighted work. So you are breaking one of the first rules, which is do not use anything that's copyrighted. So if you try and like fool us, believe me, not only myself and David, we're going to be like very attentive to this, but the community here, all of you guys are really good at this, and you're going to be able to tell, hey, that's AI, here's the proof, and it's going to be disqualified. You don't have to show a wireframe, Sansan, and you don't have to show a wireframe because we're not requiring the full production pipeline. We're only looking for the sculpt. But if you want to texture it, you probably will have to do some what's the word, some wireframe. So you don't need the wireframe. You don't have to show it on the works on your portfolio. Of course, do it on the works in progress. You can do it. But yeah, there we go. I think I never create the model like creature before. I do mostly props, says Nacho. Well, then this is a perfect opportunity, Nacho, to try something a little bit different. Can I work in a team? That's another question that we get, and the answer is no. Submissions are individual. However, we do encourage communication and getting suggestions and help from our community. Feel free to share your whips on our Discord channel, get some like ideas and things like that. That's perfectly fine, but you should do it by yourself. That's part of the process. There we go. Yes, and Mexican Mofo, I'm gonna be submitting this information at the end of the stream throughout today. It's gonna be there on the Discord channel, and you guys are gonna have access to all of these rules that we have right here. Does it have to be a realistic creature, or can it be any style? Any style. And see, this is why I'm doing this frequently asked questions. There you go. Does it have to be a realistic style? No, feel free to explore different art styles and genres. So I know most of the questions that you guys are asking right now, hopefully are already covered in this frequently asked questions right here. Let's see. A monster made out of props by Nacho. Hey, that could work. Like if it's like a construct sort of thing, like a golem or something, that works. Do monsters require proper anatomy? Some monsters will, others won't. It depends. Like if you're doing like a gelatinous cube or something like that, well, there's no anatomy there, and it's a creature. But if you're doing like a demon with like a very exaggerated factions and things like that, then yeah, you probably will need a little bit like that. You should have a theme to help guide us. I can give you some ideas, Sansan. So I can give you some ideas of the kind of stuff that you can do. You missed the AI part. No AI, man. Can I use AI? No. You may use it for image enhancements such as upscaling and denoisers and things like that, but not for 3D generation or texture generation, Maggot. So no, AI is not allowed for that kind of stuff. If you want to use AI, to generate some concepts and give you some ideas, I mean, it's going to be impossible for me to know if you did or not, right? So go for it. However, try to, again, find reference or ideas or inspiration from real artists, from the real world and things like that. Am I supposed to submit it with textures or only clay renders? Great question. Again, the submissions are here. It's 3 images. A beauty render, so you can present it in the best possible way. If you want to present it just as a clay render with some cool lights and things like that, go for it. On the beauty render, then we need the clay render to really appreciate what's going on, and the proof screenshot, as we mentioned. I'm gonna have examples of this on the post as well, so if you're like, I don't understand what the beauty render is, I'm gonna show what the beauty render is. But yeah, can I make a creature based on the Halloween season? Of course, Casey, of course you can. And that's the next question Sanson here was saying. The problem with themes, Sansan, is that it's very difficult for me to just say, hey, everyone, let's do a Halloween thing, because Halloween might not be something that everyone is, like, again, acquainted to in the world, right? So my best advice is just grab something like, I don't know, a gothic fantasy, right? Like if you like Cthulhu stuff, there's a lot of like very cool gothic fantasy. This, even though it's like a human, and I know it's AI, I'm sorry to be using this one as an example, but that sort of stuff, those sort of creatures could potentially work as a cool concept. If you like fantasy, do fantasy. If you like, I don't know, if you like sci-fi, do alien concepts. Remember that here in Google, you can add the -AI to try to remove most of the AI stuff. So this is a creature, right? This is a creature, right? These guys here are creatures. So this thing right here, even though it's like an armor thing, could be potentially considered a creature. This is a creature. So all of these things are fine. Go and find what you want. You want to go whimsical. You can go whimsical. So if you go whimsical creature concept, for instance, let's get rid of -AI as well. There we go. You're gonna find there's even more AI on this shit right here. I hate this. But like this cool little guy right there, that's a creature, right? This guy's right here, those are creatures. This guy right here, that's a creature, right? This guy's right here, those are creatures. So there's a bunch of things, guys. There's a bunch of things. Like if you're questioning, if you're like struggling with, I don't know what to do, that's part of being an artist. It's called the blank page, like a state where you don't really know what to do. But there's so many things that you can do. Like I think this is Similar to the weapon contest, where we didn't say, hey, you gotta do an axe. Like, you can do a creature. Now, do you want to follow one of our tutorials? You can follow, for instance, Duncan's tutorial and do a creature that fights against Duncan. Do you want to follow the Oni tutorial? You can do a different version of the Oni, or a different thing about, like, that world in particular. You can do the door tutorial and follow something similar. So, all of those things. What do you think about the Warframe game characters? Oh, yeah, that's amazing, man. Yeah, Warframe is really, really good. Yeah, so Warframe, I hope it's the game I'm thinking of. Yeah, all of this. Is this Warframe? If this is Warframe, yes, all of this are creatures. Yep, all of these are creatures. So it can be animal creatures, it can be humanoid creatures, it can be, again, all of this. Yeah, I would probably try to avoid the armor guys, like something like this. I would not consider a creature. This is more like a character, right? So creatures, I guess, should be a little bit more wild, not as civilized as something or someone with an armor. And like, I know this looks like a creature, I would consider this a human. Again, it's going to be a little bit difficult to give you all of the possible solutions right here. The worst thing that can happen is that you do something like this and you lose some points. You will not be disqualified if you do something like this, but you will lose some points on some of the categories. Could we show a creature slowly transforming? Yeah, sure, that can work. Pokemon style creature, yeah, that's also a horror style, yeah, that's all good. Because again, remember guys, we're going to be evaluating, if we go back to the evaluation tab right here, these things right here are going to be evaluated per character, right? So I'm not gonna be comparing, for instance, Berg's character against Anna's character, right? That would be very unfair because the styles, techniques, and all that stuff can be very, very difficult. So we're gonna like evaluate every single piece independently, then we're gonna rank them, and that's how we're gonna find which one is the best one. Okay, let's see. Any more questions? Evolve, yeah, Evolve is also a really good place to look for creatures. What if it's a hybrid between two animals? That's great, Sansan. Yeah, that's an excellent idea. What if there's a small creature next to the main one, like a companion or familiar? Sure, we're probably gonna like evaluate the main one, but if it's part of that sort of like symbiosis, that could work. You know, that will be more like a robot, Pablos. Like, yeah, once we go into the Horizon Dawn start thing, that's definitely a little bit more into the what's the word? That's definitely more sci-fi hard surface robot style. Like, one of the things that we want to encourage with this contest is a little bit more sculpting, okay? So there should be some sculpting involved. I know you can sculpt those as well, but yeah, a monster with a couple of hard surface or armor pieces, that's fine. There we go. Okay, we can start right that way. Yes, you can start right away. Like, the announcement is done, so you guys can start working on it. We will have, again, I'm probably going to be uploading a video either tomorrow or on Monday for everyone else to like listen about this, and we're going to be announcing this on the Discord channel. You know what, it might be easier, I think, David, right? Like, it might be easier to just cut this part of the stream and upload it for tomorrow so that it's already up and everyone has access to it. If you want to do monster with armor, yeah, Gears of War is a good example. But again, if you do Gears of War, I would probably not focus on the main guys that are very humanoid. I would focus on some of the other ones that are a little bit more monster-like. So yeah. What if my free creature has to be attached to a human? That could work. You're gonna have to do the human as well, but that could work. Do I have the right to pick a 2D concept art from other artists? It's supposed to be your own concept, Akref. We really want to encourage, again, the design process. And this is something that I've been very, very strongly opinionated about in the past couple of years. I strongly believe that you will be a stronger artist if you not only know how to take a concept and do it, but also generate your own ideas and generate your own designs, okay? So this is a good exercise for that, to really like work out that creative muscle and think about what you would do. Here's what I do. I can help you with this. If you find a concept that you really like, use it as an inspiration, as a base, and then see how would you change it or how would you improve it, okay? You consider yourself an awful creature, says White Minus. No, man, you're not an awful creature. We love you, man. Okay. Yeah, the stream synopsis will have a lot of questions directly. Exactly, I agree. So yeah, we'll probably have this. This stream will probably remain up then, because I don't want to be unfair to anyone else who is listening this a little bit later. So yeah, any more questions, guys, before we move on to the next part of today's stream? The information will be on the Discord, Nico. I'm not sure if I can add a tab on the website, to be honest, but the information will be on the thing. Triangle and endguns are allowed. I mean, they're not recommended, but if you have them and the render works, and that's like, we're not gonna see it. We're not gonna see the topology. I don't need to see the topology. We're looking for ideas and we're looking for executions. Not really that. The price, yeah, we've announced the price. So we're gonna have 2 winners again. Remember, 2 winners. We're gonna have a judge's pick. It's gonna be 250 USD gift card plus a free course of your choosing, and a community speak, which is the same price. And we're gonna have 3 finalists with a free course for every finalist and a one-on-one session as well for every finalist. Ah, you're welcome, Casey. Are you gonna participate? Are you thinking about it? I'm not a creature artist, but let's do it, says Anthony. Yeah, let's go. Will you be able to post an example submission? Yes, we're gonna have an example submission. I can actually show you one right now. Here, I'm gonna use one of the characters that's on the cover. So, like this character right here. I did this character, look at that, 6 years ago. It's like a mermaid kind of character, right? Sci-fi-ish mermaid. So this would be my beauty shot. This will be, and this is not a great one, by the way. You can definitely do better than this, but just this is an example of what I would expect from a render like this. So this is the, again, the presentation render, lens layer, post-production, stuff like that. This would be the clean render. Okay, this is another sort of like presentation render. This would be the clean render where you have your, where we can see the sculpt from all of the sides. And then we're missing just the wire, or the viewport evidence that it's your model, right? Other than that, it will be just like a 500 word max. It could be like 2 sentences. If you want to just add 2 sentences, I mean, that's fine. You're going to probably lose some points in the story section, but yeah. Show us the last contest winners. Yeah, I think I have them here. Weapons of Legends. I don't have it. You can check the video on YouTube because I don't have it here. But I can show you one of the finalists. I think this one was one of the finalists. Reaper's Embrace, the Mortal Seek Being. The rules were a little bit different because I'm not sure if this was an original concept by the artist, but again, the execution was really good. It's like it looks very Elden Ringish. So, oh, that's a great question. Does it need to be a fully sculpted creature? Does it have to be an A pose? No, it doesn't have to be an A pose. It can be T pose. That's fine, or it could be just pose. Like I did A pose because I had this one ready, but your clay render can be like, I have the Oni over here as well. There we go. So your clay render could be like this, of course, full HD, right? But this is a clay render. This would be a presentation render with a little bit more of interesting lights and things like that. So yeah, it doesn't have to be an A pose. It doesn't have to be in T pose. It can be pose. That's fine for the clay render and for the beauty render. More good creatures examples. Dude. The internet is your freaking playground there. Another advice that I gave is this one. So if you are aware of wait, here. Oh, that's really weird. Where's my book? I'm missing some books here. I'm missing my monster manuals. But if you go to any RPG online and you check the like monster book, you're gonna have tons of inspiration there. Tons of inspiration. Let's see. What about if you didn't choose one and decided to say no and the crowd said that is a winner? Will you? Yes, that's what I mentioned, man. There you go. So we have a community speak. So there's going to be, and it's not going to be just me, by the way. I'm talking with some of my friends that are working on the industry as well, and I will be announcing some of them soon, and we will decide as a group which one is the winner. But there's also going to be a community pick, so you guys are going to be like, no, we thought this one was better. Fine, both of them win. The one picked by the judges and the one picked by you guys. yeah, D&D, Pathfinder, Starfinder. There's a bunch of books out there that you can use as inspiration. Does it need to be a fully sculpted creature? I recommend it. The reason why I recommend it is because I know there's going to be a lot of people that are going to do full creatures. And if you just do a bust, then the chances of you winning against some of the full creatures is going to be less... it's going to be more complicated. How will the winners be decided? That's excellent, man. We're going to be doing this scorecard. We're going to be evaluating these 5 aspects. So it's the presentation of the final render, the sculpt of the clay render, the technical execution of the piece, the story at the background, and the design and the creativity. All of these are the things that we're going to be evaluating on a 20-point basis. We're going to do a scorecard. We're going to share this scorecard, by the way. So we're going to, everything's going to be transparent on how many points everyone got. And yeah, that's how we're going to decide who wins. If there's a tie, that's a really interesting question. I know it hasn't been asked, but if there's a tie for first place, that's interesting. We'll see what happens then. Because I'm not sure if we're going to be able to give 2 grand prize winners, but we'll probably do some sort of tiebreaker or something like that. I'm not sure. Or we might talk to the winners and split the prize. I don't know. Well, that's the one that we definitely need to decide if there's a tie later on. Okay. How much time do we have? Again, an excellent question, and all of this is going to be available here. The deadline is October 30, okay? October 30, not 31. It's not the last day of October. Don't make this mistake. It's October 30. Why? Because we need October 31 to go through the submissions before we show the ones that fulfill the rules on the November 1st live stream, okay? So October 30, 11:59 Mexico time. So for those of you who are in California, it's gonna be, or in the West Coast, it's gonna be a little bit earlier. So it's gonna be right around 10 p.m. on October 30th. So again, just check your time zones properly, because I'm literally gonna put an alarm on my phone. I'm gonna go online and just gonna lock the thread, and no one's gonna be able to post anymore. They must duel to the death. We could do a sculpt off. That would be pretty sick, right? Let's do 1 hour sculpt off and see who wins. That would be interesting as well. But no, I don't know, man. We'll have to check a little bit later. Okay. Any more questions? So if the creature is entirely sculpted, do weapons or clothes also have? No. You again, you can use polymodel. You can use, that's part of the questions right here. Any tools that are to your disposal may be used. You decide what helps you the most in achieving a great result. So if you want to use Marvelous Designer, Topogon, Blender, Maya, 3D Studio Max, Embergen, everything, go for it. Go crazy. Because again, I want you guys not only to practice and do some cool stuff. If this is going to help you with your portfolio, that's also a great way to be motivated, right? Because it's going to be a piece that you're going to be able to use later on as well. Any more questions? After we post, will we be able to have you or David double check that it follows all of the rules, or if it needs changed and resubmitted? Oh no, man. I'm sorry, Lord Tellum. We cannot do that. And the reason we cannot do that is because it should be your responsibility to make sure that everything is properly submitted, okay? So, but I can help you right now to make sure that something is properly submitted. So let's go right here. Let's copy this image. So let's say I'm ready to submit my my final image. If you're in Photoshop, you're gonna go to image size, and make sure it's set to 1920 by 1080. Okay, resolution is fine. 72 for digital is perfectly fine, and it should allow you to post it on Discord. So this is what you will need to check on this, because we had this issue last time when some people did 4K renders. Bring them down to 1920 by 1080. If you submit at 4K, we will have to disqualify you because you did not follow the rules. I know it feels unfair, or it might feel stupid because 4K looks better or whatever, but this is what we're doing, okay? Yes, Agovi, that's another one of the questions. See, I knew this was gonna happen. So all of these questions are asked here right now since we're on the live. There you go. But if you have more questions, guys, please feel free to check the frequently asked questions. You will be able to ask more questions on the thread as well on Discord to make sure that this is fair. Following, yes, exactly, McFly. Following the rules is part of the contest. So if you don't follow the rules, sorry, you're out. So can I use an existing IP like Marvel or DC? Can I do fan art? It is not recommended because it won't be completely original. However, this particular one won't cause a disqualification if you decide to do so. You might lose a little bit of points on the story and creativity, but it won't disqualify you. what exactly would be intense gore? Like if you have a monster that has the torso open, heart out, blood pouring everywhere, and it's just like overly gory, like the Saw movies, you know, like that kind of stuff. Let's try to avoid it. You can have, of course, like some cuts and some damage, some blood and stuff like that, but we don't want to have something that's like pushing it to like very mature audiences. And it's mainly, teach me, Jin, it's mainly because of the politics here in YouTube and Twitch, where we can't go there for some of the audiences. So the creatures, okay. There you go. Yeah. The main idea is that. Now, there's one final disclaimer before we move on. Today, I'm actually going to start sculpting something. Let's see what we can get. But this is a disclaimer, guys. The objective of this contest is to have fun, to learn, and to share our love for 3D. Cheating, toxicity, negative behavior, harassing will not be tolerated. If we see someone being extremely rude, either when giving critique or when receiving critique, you guys will be banned, not only from the contest, but also from the Discord channel, okay? So I don't want to see things on the Discord like, oh, you suck, and you're a horrible artist, and this is like bullshit, and things like that. You guys are out, on both sides, okay? So this should be something that helps us as a community and that allows us to grow and to learn, okay? Two important notices, because we also got this comments last time and I just want to be clear about it. By participating on this contest, you agree to have your work shared in our network. That's just a little thing. So we might show it in some shorts, we might show it in some live streams, we might just like use your work to show people specific things about the pipelines and things like that. It's part of the agreement in this case. And you retain, this is very important, you retain all rights to your work at all times. You don't need to send me any 3D models. You don't need to send me any files. All of this is yours, completely yours, guys. And this is also, again, a little bit of encouragement. If you do a really cool job and you create like a very cool world, that could potentially be the idea for your next indie game or for your next story or for your next whatever. So use this opportunity, guys, to create something that's yours, that's unique to you. Alexi, no, it's not gonna be reactions, okay? So here's we're still figuring things out because again we want to have a fair shot for everyone, Alexit. So on the live stream day on November the 1st, you guys are gonna see all of the submissions. We're gonna go through all of the submissions and we're just gonna give a quick idea. I'm not gonna be grading it. We're just gonna go through them and just like talk about, oh, this is very cool, this is not as cool, or I like this, I don't like this, I would have changed that. It's just gonna be like portfolio review, but for the contest. We're not gonna decide winners in that day, but in that day you guys are gonna see all of them, and from that point on we're gonna use the dynamic, which again we're still figuring out which one is gonna be, to give everyone a fair shot so that we can pick which ones is the community pick. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Maxwag, you're a little bit late, man. We've finished covering everything, but just a quick overview. It's Creatures Unleashed. We're going to be creating creatures for this next month, okay? All of this information is going to be available very, very soon on YouTube as well. Like, as soon as the live stream ends, this video is going to be up there on YouTube so that you can check it out again from the very beginning. Like, we've literally been talking about this for the past hour, answering all the questions and making sure everyone is on the same stuff. If I posted on Instagram or our station, should I use some hashtag or mark you or something? Yeah, let's just use this one, Creatures Unleashed. We can use the Leal 3D as well. You can tag us, but yeah, you can definitely do that. A tiebreaker on the audience might be a good idea as well. Yeah. You can do this contest now. I don't know how to model the default cube. Oh man. There you go. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all we have. If there's more questions, we'll answer more questions. Don't worry about that, guys. Like, feel free to ask some questions, but I wanna jump and sculpt something. Let's see what we can do. And I'm gonna do a little bit of isekai. Do you guys know what isekai means? All of you anime fans. I'm not a huge anime fan, but I know a little bit about the lingo. So you know what an isekai is? Yeah, isekai. Have you heard about that concept before in stories? No, Truckun, I think that's a specific isekai. Otherworld. Yeah. You get here. It's this trope or this sort of like way of telling a story where the main character is transported to an imaginary or like fantasy world, and he knows he is in an imaginary world or like an imaginary place. So it's kind of like the chosen one from Earth, and then you're suddenly in freaking Lord of the Rings, and you know you're in Lord of the Rings or in Tolkien's world. You're like, okay, sure, let's roll with this. And then he just has to go from there. So I'm gonna do a little bit of isekai right now with myself. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and drag the 3D scan that I did a couple of, I think it was last year actually. And I'm gonna try to reimagine myself as a monster in Duncan's world, you know? So, where is it? Scan. Hey, it was here, wasn't it? I was sure I had it. Where is it? Oh, don't tell me I lost it. If I lost it, it's gonna be sad. Oh, I think I lost it. I was sure it was there. Let me check the files real quick, guys. Why creature, not character? We can hide here with Cap or something. The reason why we want to do creature, there's a little bit of a motif with Halloween and all that stuff. So it's just character. I feel like character brings the ideas to other type of like submissions, and I want to go in a different direction. So again, like a creature can be a character, right? For instance, Rocket Raccoon from Guardians of the Galaxy, he's a creature, but he's also a character. So if you do something like Rocket Raccoon, awesome. That counts. Let's see. I was sure I had the file. Oh, there we go. It's an FBX. Import. Let's go over here. Assets. Scan. How many years to become a 3D character artist? Ah, that's a very difficult question, man. Oh, it's not this one? Oh, no, this is another scan. This is a cool scan, though. I did this scan on a park near me. I think this. I'm not sure if it was reality capture or what was it, but it's just like a tree trunk. It's like a little bit of a photogrammetry test right here. The fun thing is, I did this with my phone, and to be a phone scan's not that bad. Barjasin, you missed a lot, Barjasin. You missed a lot. But don't worry, it's gonna be available as soon as the stream finishes on YouTube, so you can check the announcement there. Let me find this, guys, because I'm sure I had a scan of my face. You guys remember I did it, but now I don't remember when I did it. 3D caps, glass demo. It's the dragon head. It's Cronus. I'm sure it was last year. Scenes. Oh, there you go. 3D scan. Is that it? It seems like that's it. Is a 3D artist harder than the actual job? Sometimes it can be. Sometimes it can be. The only scan I did was for Metahuman for a friend. It works really good. Yeah, Metahuman works. What's nice. How long is this stream going to be? We're gonna go for another hour probably per us. We're just gonna do some initial ideations. I wanna show you a little bit of the process that I would follow to try to create something interesting. Okay. There you go. Look at that chubby dude. So let's export this file. Export selection. Yeah, I would say 2 years is usually like the... Yeah, that's me. 2 years is usually like the early stages of the process. Once you go over 2 years, you can start creating some cool stuff. There's some people that are way more talented as well, and you might be able to speed run that, or it also depends on how much time you spend learning about the tools. That's weird. File, export selection. There we go. But I think for me, for instance, I remember when I was at school, it took me, or when I started learning 3D, I started learning 3D in 2011. I think it was on 2014 where I started feeling really proud of what I was doing. So again, it really depends on how much time you spend on things. But it takes time. Like that's one thing that I definitely want to emphasize. It definitely takes time. There we go. So that's me. That's a scan I did of myself. I think it was last year or something. One of my big dreams is to work for like Riot or Meta or even Hi-Res. I wish to let Hero champion designs for MOBAs. Well, you definitely need to learn about hand painted texture. Like that's gonna be your main stuff. So again, I'm gonna do the isekai sort of thing, but I'm gonna go bad. So I'm gonna be one of the bad guys on that universe. So what I need to do now is I need to start creating the idea, and I really haven't gone very creepy lately. I've been doing a lot of I usually like tanky characters, so I think I'm gonna go tanky. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to rotate my head forward, and then I start working on the big shapes first. Okay, it's very important that when you're starting any type of project, you always focus on the big shapes first. Like, what is it that you want to do with your character? And in my case, Duncan's world is very, because again, if you remember, I'm using Duncan's world as a reference. So in Duncan's world, it's very sort of like Hellboy, sort of like Wolfenstein. So it's kind of like Cthulhu-esque, you know, like demons and things like that. So that's kind of like the vibe that I'm going for. So I'm gonna go. Again, I've been thinking about this sort of like Frankenstein monster event. Did I use reality capture? No, I think I actually used the substance sampler one for this one. Let's dynamesh real quick. There we go. I want to be asymmetrical, so I'm gonna, and in this case, again, since I'm just working on the idea right now, if I want to make this for production later, I can do it later. But since this is just the idea right now, I'm gonna do like a big arm right here. I was going to ask, did you have a creature to merge yourself with in mind? No, we're free balling right now. We're YOLOing. Let's see what we get. Again, I'm sort of like getting inspired by like Frankenstein, like a big monster, sort of like gorilla style or something. I don't know. So I want to have like a tanky body. So, oh, go. Oh, what did I do? I kind of want to have like a mutation on the face. So half the face is kind of like, you know, gone. It's very creepy to be working on an actual like model of myself, to be honest. There we go. I'm gonna use the snake hook. I'm thinking spikes are always interesting, so it would feel interesting. I'm again thinking about how it would like attack and things like that. So it would be cool if he has this super big arm, and in this big arm, he is going to sort of like shoulder crash someone. So there might be some like spikes in here. It's also gonna change the silhouette quite a bit. Should I upload this one? Do you guys want to try and do like an ape monster? That would be interesting. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll upload the scan if you. Oh man, I might regret this, but if you guys want to use my head as a base mesh, I'll allow it. Not related to the challenge, but I'm interested in learning more about hard surface. I'm planning on getting your next robot line tutorial, but first I was wondering if you're planning on doing anything similar. Yeah, I can't provide any support because I don't see the question. So if you ask a question on that one, it's difficult. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm gonna have a hard surface tutorial soon. So yeah. Do you think I can follow along the ZBrush stylized character course in Blender? Yes, you should be able to follow it. Not everything, right? Like there's gonna be some tools that you're not gonna be able to match, but you should be able to follow quite a bit of it, I would say. This arm right here, I was thinking it could be like a destroyed arm or something. Let's push it back a little bit for balance. Which ZBrush? No, desktop iPad is just like way better. Like no questions asked. But ZBrush for iPad is really freaking good. Really freaking good. Set the tricep there. Let's move it a little bit. I feel like this arm is. And see, one of the important parts of or things about this sort of like initial like section or initial construction of the character is that we're not even worrying about like cleanliness. It's just about like getting to understand how the character will look like, right? The type of like character that we're doing. If I then find like, oh yeah, cool, this is working, let's do something a little bit cleaner, I'll start another sculpt. I'll do it again. Okay, so there's no need to try to just polish this all the way to the top. And that's one of the things that I would encourage. Like, if you guys are going to start working on this, no, of course I'm not going to participate on the contest. Of course I'm not. Like, I will be working on something, right? Like, I might be doing a character or something, but I'm not, I cannot participate. Neither myself nor David can participate or on the contest. We can do our own stuff, but we're not eligible for prizes. Of Popeye, yeah, it's like a Bowser Popeye thing. That looks interesting. I'm trying to think about the like the story, right? Because the story always helps. So here's my story. When I was in medicine school, I was just there one year, but I will say that I was in medicine school. But I was trying to be a doctor. I realized very quickly that if I ever became a doctor, I would not be working on the hospital or things like that. Like, that's just not what would happen. Because I realized that it's just not what I wanted to do, right? So once I figured that out, the only other option that I had was, hey, maybe I'm gonna have to go into investigation, right? Like research and things like that. So what if I was doing some research and I found some like mysterious things, and it exploded, and after the explosion I woke up all mutated and destroyed in this new world, and there was this rage inside me that I couldn't control, and I just needed to destroy something, right? That could be interesting. So that's why half of my face would be sort of like burnt out. This is probably going to be a normal arm. I will not win, but I want to participate. Hey, how do you know you're not going to win? You're not going to know until you submit. Let's do the legs. There we go. I'm overthinking it. If I make something like Cell from Dragon Ball, will be accepted. Yes, but again, and that's one of the rules that's there on the document, which is going to be shared soon on the Discord. If you use an existing IP, then the odds of you winning against someone that's doing an original job are going to be very, very slim. Like, you're not gonna get disqualified, but you will, like, your chances of winning again are gonna be quite lower, right? Is this going to be concept art, the model that you're doing? Yes, this will be for, like, concept art. Exactly, right? Like, I got some, like, really, really bad pizza. I really want to move the face down a little bit. It's gonna go more into the creepy side of things. There we go. Can this character's cult contest allow the character to have armor? Yes, you can have a little bit of armor pieces. You can have cloth. You can have... Again, as long as it's a creature, remember, try to, like, look for the definition of a creature, and you're gonna see that one of the dictionary definitions is something that's non-human, right? But again, Dracula, it's technically a creature. Frankenstein is technically a creature. So all of them are technically creatures that could potentially be, you know what would be cool? Like, this is gonna be like a very strong arm. And this one's gonna be like a claw arm. Let's see. Big claws right here. As you can see, I don't care about topology right now. Like, that's not the main focus right now. Yeah, I like that. It's just a little bit of snake hook. These are gonna be... Makes sense if he's right-handed. Sir, I want to ask you, is when you started as a teacher, you just had a GTX 1060 and you worked hard and now you have an RTX 3060. It's actually a 3080 Ti. But yeah, how was your journey with... what challenges you had to face? Oh man, that's an excellent question. See, one thing that I think people don't listen enough or don't realize enough is that there's a bunch of time, okay? So we feel... I think we generally feel like we are pressured to just, like, be great and do great things very quickly. When in reality, great things take time. I remember once hearing about a quote about, like, the big buildings and the big, like, cathedrals and things that they built in like, medieval times. People would commit to those projects even though no one was going to be alive to see them finished, right? And nowadays, we live in a time in our society where we just, like, want everything very, very fast and without a lot of effort, right? So my journey, Solid Mango, has been one of continuous effort, continuous learning, continuous improvement, right? Always learning, always improving. And that's the kind of stuff that has helped me to achieve things little by little. One of the best advices that I can give you, and this is as a lifestyle sort of thing. Why is it not playing? Play this again. Hey. Someone else playing this? Ah, it was gonna play now. Give me 1 second, because we lost the music. Spotify. I'm still live, right? Like, we didn't lose connection. There we go. Full HD is perfectly fine for the monitors. So yeah, like, one of the best advices I can give you, and this is lifestyle related, is never bite more than you can chew. Like, what I mean by this is, I know there's a lot of people out there that are gonna be like, oh, I'm just gonna get a credit card and I'm gonna buy like a $50,000 or $5,000 PC with all of the best components. If you don't need it right now, if the projects you're working on do not need that sort of stuff right now, don't over stress yourself on getting something that you're not gonna be able to to get the best of, right? So it's very, very important. Like, the reason why I've been able to like improve the studio here with the camera, the microphone, and all that sort of stuff is because we've been growing, right? So as I grow, I make safe bets on what's a good idea to get or to invest in, right? But if I were to just like start, like, imagine if 5 years ago, when I was no one here in YouTube or with courses or anything, and I just bought everything, and then the project failed, that would have been horrific, right? Like, I would be in a lot of debt, and it would be very difficult to get out of that. So it's important to always visualize where you are in life and take the decisions that are appropriate to that. For instance, if you want to start a new business, right? Like, maybe you want to do something like, I don't know, let's do a crazy example. Like, you want to start a coffee shop. Well, you don't need to buy the most amazing coffee shop machines and the most amazing equipment. You can start with a very small, very normal business, and then if you see that there's success there, you keep growing and keep growing and keep growing. You keep pushing based on the kind of like elements that you are, or the kind of success that you're having. Because there's the other side of the coin where you might be investing a lot of stuff into something, and then that something doesn't work, it fails, and then you're out of luck and you have to pay that. That happened to me, actually. Have I told you guys about that? This was back in 2016, when 3D printing was starting to get like quite hype around the 3D world, and I bought myself a Sortrax M20 machine. At that time, that machine cost me $2,000, roughly $2,000, and now it's just a glorified like doorstepper, because I could never make a business out of it. Now, a couple of years later, I actually do sell a couple of printed things and stuff on the side. But back then, that was a failed business of my side, and back then I did not have $2,000 to just spend on something like that. I remember I asked for a loan, and I paid the loan and everything with interest, unfortunately. But that's the part of things that taught me a really important lessons, because I thought that the 3D printing business was just gonna like blow up, and at that time it was not ready. So you need to understand that we're all in a journey, and we're gonna be learning this kind of things as we keep going. Okay, should we do two heads, like an evil Ave and a good Ave or something like that? That looks kind of interesting. Oh, there you go. So Nacho there, that's another example. Nacho says, hey, I want to learn, you know what? I kind of want to have, like, the faces conjoined like this. You remember, like, Voldemort? Something like that. What do you guys think? Is that something, or is that too bizarre? Kind of looks like a Siamese twin. Yeah, so if you have a business idea, I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that I've seen a lot of people are another head or another face. Another head looks kind of nice, right? Maybe a smaller face. I think we have to avoid the human-like creatures. No, you can use humanoid creatures. There's a lot of humanoid creatures out there. This is a monster, right? Like, I'm doing a monster, kind of like Frankenstein or things like that. This is fine. If you want to do animalistic creatures, you know, that's fine as well. If you want to do cute creatures, that's fine as well. So this is just an example. It doesn't have to be like this, okay? That's very, very important. Trying to think what else. We definitely need to change the pose a little bit, so I'm gonna grab this arm, move it to the side a little bit, because of the silhouette. The silhouette is getting a little bit like intense. I think I want to do this like a gorilla, so he's gonna have like short legs, maybe. I'm not sure. Says the thing is, I'm too lazy to do this alone. Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys something. It is not fake what you hear online about entrepreneurs. Like, I'm not sure if I consider myself an entrepreneur or not. Like, sometimes I feel like it has a lot of like, I don't know, like weird connotations. But when you do your own stuff, like I can say that when you do your own stuff, you are going to be sacrificing a lot more than when you're doing stuff for someone else. Okay? So when you have your own project, you're going to have to invest time. You're going to have to invest energy. You're going to have to invest money. Like there's a bunch of things that you're going to have to invest to really, really make sure that that project is successful. And that's great, because if it is successful, if you find success, it's very, very rewarding, right? But that's a decision that you have to make. Everyone has a decision to make in regards to their sort of like professional career and how they want to handle it. Some people don't like that. Some people are like, no, fuck that. I don't want to be like stressing about paying bills and paying employers. I just want to be told what to do my job, and go home happy. Perfectly valid. That's amazingly valid as well. But if you want to do your own stuff, you will have your own challenges. I've had my own challenges throughout the years. Like there's been really dark times, like economic wise, right? It's not that everything is like super amazing all the time. So you gotta be able to go through that. And again, because I also think that as a society we tend to be very critical about that. You don't have to do that if you don't want. Metal Gear says, yeah, working on your own game is an investment, but it's so much more. Yeah, it depends, right? Like everything has its ups and downs. Like for instance, here in Mexico, we have something called the aguinaldo, which is a bonus you get as an employee at the end of the year. It's kind of like a Christmas gift, and it usually is like the minimum is half your monthly wage. But most places will give you a full monthly wage, or some might even give you 2 monthly wages. So imagine getting like the payment of 2 months, or like a 1 full month at the end of the year just for free. That's great, right? Like that's very cool. Like if you're working somewhere here in Mexico and they're following the law, you will get that. You will get that very cool bonus, which is nice. If you're doing things indie, like I am, like if you have your own studio, like I do, or you're doing your own projects, you don't have that. So that's one of the things that every single December, I see all my friends like, oh, I got this much for my aguinaldo, or I got this much as my bonus. It's like, oh, that's very cool. I wish I had that. But at the same time, I see them, for instance, spending all their day from 8 a.m. all the way to 6 p.m. working, and I have the ability or the freedom to, if I want to take a break and go with my family to get something to eat or something, I can do that. Again, there's some advantages in certain things, and there's some disadvantages. So you gotta be very honest with yourself, and you gotta find out what you feel is gonna work, or what's the best decision for you. Okay, it's very, very important. Oh, the chat suddenly got quiet. What's going on, guys? Which studios you work for? I've been working on the indie scene for a while now, and freelancing. I haven't worked on on an office, like on a big studio. That's not what I've done as part of my experience. But in 2016, I started my own studio. It was called Critical Hit, and then in 2019, I merged with a partner of mine into a new studio that's now called Hyperlab. And what we do in Hyperlab is we do VR experiences. So we do VR development. I got my Meta Quest over there, but it's small experiences, right? They're now making critics. They just jumped into the content like, oh, I gotta do something now. Yeah, that's awesome. Go for it, guys. Okay, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Nemesis from Resident Evil. So I'm definitely grabbing some mental inspiration from there. I'm not watching any what's the word? Reference right now. Hyperlab as in laboratory. Recently I've been getting a lot of assignments from my college and not able to focus on practicing 3D work a lot. Any suggestions for me? Usually time management. Like I know there's times in your life where you're not going to be able to have too much time, but we've all been guilty of just spending stupid amounts of time on social media, on YouTube, right? On doing non-productive stuff, right? I hope that these streams, even if you're right now watching, are at least something that you're using to learn more about the 3D world. But there's a lot of people that just watch like meme videos and stupid commentary and things like that. And I do that as well. Like I lose. I've been getting bombarded on my TikTok account with people opening Pokemon packs, and that thing just like triggers something on my brain. I just want to see if they get something cool. But like that's the kind of stuff that you could be like, hey, we need to, like, you need to really be smart about it and be like, hey, you know what? Like I know I could be doing that and just like wasting my time. Why not just learn about something new? Why not just open up a tutorial or a book or something? So it's a lot about time management, I would say. But again, yeah, there will, like, I remember when I was at Nomen, most of my days were used working on the homework that I had from Nomen, and I didn't have a lot of stuff or time to do things that were my own creation. But that will pass. That will pass. So yes, naive otaku. Well, what do you mean? It's like you don't need to pay to enter. Like you don't need to pay to enter. But there are like prizes on the contest, so there's like money prizes. Yeah, I really like this. I think I kind of want to add another spike, like right here. Oh, I have an idea. Oh my god, I just got an enlightened idea. Look at this, guys. Look at this. I'm gonna duplicate one more face. And have you guys seen that? Like, I'm not sure if it's a story or if it's like it's something about the, what's the word? It's this very famous thing with the little monkeys, where there's one monkey that's covering his eyes, one monkey that's covering its mouth, and one monkey that's covering its ears. So I'm gonna do that. So I think that's an interesting idea. So this one right here, the main head, is not gonna have a mouth. It's just gonna be merged with the torso. This one right here won't have eyes. That one's gonna be the mouth. It's like a small mouth that's gonna be doing all the talking. Hear no evil, see no evil. Well, this one's gonna be the opposite. Like speak evil, see evil, hear evil. And this one right here, just gonna be hearing. No seeing. A seraphim from the Bible. Yeah, something like that. There we go. I think we're now in a position here. Again, it's a concept piece to just like merge things. So I'm gonna go back to subtool and just merge down. I'm supposed to remove the ears on which one? On this one, right? Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Because this one's gonna have the ears and the other ones are not. So I'm gonna merge them with the body. Yeah, it's kind of like servers, yeah, right? There's gonna be like fibers going in here. And again, if we go to the story, it could be because this guy, myself, I was working on some like forbidden thing that was gonna bring pain to the world or something. I was being like an evil scientist, and now it's just kind of like karma or the consequences of that. There we go. My tablet is squeaking now. Yeah, it kind of looks like a boss, right? Like, it's definitely not something you're gonna be facing every time on the game. There we go. Yeah, it's quite a dark story, right? So this guy's gonna have the eyes. Oh. And I even think just like one eye. Well, maybe one exposed eye and the other one's gonna be a normal eye. Let's add them. Wolf Girl, welcome back. Yeah, we're working on just a quick idea here for the live stream. Dark Souls first boss. There we go. Let's duplicate. It's gonna be a little bit asymmetrical, the eyes, so. Because this one's completely destroyed. There we go. Yeah, I'm also thinking about like Bane and things like that. How long did it take for one of your pieces on our station to get to 1K views? I don't know, man. To be honest, I don't count those. Like I don't care too much about the views on our station. Like I would know it's important, but it's not something that I like. The only reason why I have on our station is so that I can send it to potential employers and to potential projects, not because I want to be famous on our station. Any comments on the Indian industry? I know it's getting bigger. I definitely know that it's getting bigger, but I don't have too much information about it, my friend. Hey, I have opportunity to create my own studio officially. Just have no idea what to do or where to go from there once it's created, which is an easy process. What do you recommend based on experience? As I said, don't bite more than you can chew. So, a couple of mistakes that I've made throughout the years is I started hiring more artists and more people because I thought we were gonna get some projects. It's like, oh, I'm talking with this guy, and there's this potential project coming on here. Let's hire someone that's gonna be able to cover these positions. And then the project is not as big as we thought, or it falls through. Oh, and then it really really hurts when you have to like fire people, for instance. So yeah, that would be my advice. Don't buy more than you can chew. Start like make sure you have things like really set in stone before you make big decisions. No, you don't have to show your reference, man. On the contest, no, you don't have to. If a creature holds some object in his hand, will this not be a violation? No, it won't be a violation. So, for instance, here I could add like a, I don't know, like a small dagger or like a sword or something, and it will be fine. There we go. I'm still like thinking about the legs. I'm not sure what I want to do with the legs. Like I know all of those spikes are gonna be separated later on, but I know. Yeah, this are scans from me. What do you mean? It's are you know what? You know an answer to a specific question? Why me? Yes, we are going to be having this creature event. It's going to be running all throughout October. Snail legs. That could be interesting. Oh, he just kind of like crawls on the floor. That's really interesting. Yeah, I like that. So we're gonna have this creature contest throughout October. Why me? I'm gonna like this live stream is on YouTube right now. You should be able to go back, and I'm gonna leave this live stream open so that people can check it out. We're probably gonna have another like clarification announcement on the Monday. But yeah, it's just create your own creature, submit it, follow the rules, very importantly, and you can win some prizes. Yeah, I like that. Let me do it with a different model. So here's another like cool trick. We can use sea spheres. I love sea spheres. Like sea spheres are one of my favorite like tools because they allow me to make sure that my proportions and everything is fine. So I'm gonna do it. I think World of Warcraft has this like Naga style creatures, right? So something like this. So I assume this needs a creature to be done in full pipeline. No full pipeline. You don't need the full pipeline. We're just working or looking for the image. If you want to do everything with polypaint and you don't want to retopo and you're going to use decimate, you're free to do so. We don't need to see wireframes. So no need for full pipeline. This is more of an idea-based contest. Yeah, exactly. So no need for all that stuff. I just want to see the creativity in everyone's work. Yeah, this looks creepy as fuck. Can you post your project? Yes, you can post process on your on the Whip channel, on the Discord channel. So yeah. The AI technique you showed us, will it work? I don't think so, Paras. I don't think so. Yeah, it's gonna be a crazy contest. I think people are gonna be doing some really cool stuff here. And again, it doesn't have to be horror. I know I'm doing horror right now. It doesn't have to be horror. there's room for everything. There we go. So let's make this an adaptive skin. Very important. A lot of people make this mistake. They make the adaptive skin, but then they don't like append it back to your element. Like the skin is right here. There we go. That's the skin right there. So we need to bring it to this guy right here. Oh, I had a question that someone asked me a couple of days ago about the difference between append and insert. So if you append, it's gonna go to the bottom of the stack. So for instance, if I'm selecting this one right here, the main body, and I hit append and I append the skin, it's gonna go to the bottom of the stack. But if I hit insert, if I click this one and I hit insert, it's gonna go below the model. That's the only difference, like where on the stack you are like adding the subtool. It's a very weird, like it's a very simple thing, but I didn't know the answer. Someone asked me a couple of live streams ago. So append will append it to the bottom of the stack, and insert will insert it to the below the tool that you have currently selected. Now, I don't want to merge this tail just yet, because it has some really nice topology. So if I want to do some like topology stuff, I kind of want to keep it. So I'm just gonna, I'm gonna see if I can sort of like merge it as two different pieces. So I don't want to Dynamesh it. Well, actually, it's Dynamesh, right? I think it's Dynamesh. Yeah, it's Dynamesh. Fuck that then. At that point, there's not much we can do. Also, append once selected after you create it. There you go. Does he poop from the booty? It will probably be like snakes, right? From the cloaca, I think it's called. There we go. So I kind of want to add again something here, like a carapace or something, so that it helps with the silhouette. And then yeah, it gets like into traditional. I don't know if it's gonna be like snake with like scales and stuff. Probably, right? Like I feel like that could potentially work. Or if we're gonna do like snail and just be a slimy. I'm not going to participate in contests because I'm a beginner. But if I want to see other works, they're gonna be available on the what's the word? On the Discord. You're gonna be able to see that on the Discord. So yeah, even if you don't participate, you will be able to see this stuff. See, as you can see, I'm trying to add this sort of like very intense, spiky right side and sort of like smoother, interesting left side. There's a little bit of like play there with the shapes. Medusa's ex-husband. There you go. Should I do my wife as Medusa next? That will be interesting. I'm not sure if she's gonna like it, but it's gonna be interesting. Yes, all of the event details will be added on Discord very soon. Let me move the arm. I feel like the arm is a little bit short, like the forearm. So I'm gonna push this here and elongate it a little bit more. There we go. That's a little bit more balanced. And I also wanna like move it to the side. I might even like move it out. Let's move it from the elbow. And let's start cleaning a little bit of the rib cage right there. Will you 50% change to sleeps outside? Yeah, it's definitely, that will definitely be a risky decision. I said the way beginners take the plunge, but yeah, like you guys should all participate, even if you're a complete beginner, and that's why we changed the evaluation points. So here's the thing, like there is a chance. Of course, I know that it can be difficult, right? Especially with people who have more experience. But if you check the evaluation, the design and creativity has 20 points. The story and background has 20 points. So if you do a really good design, really original, you do a really cool story, you already have 40 points. So maybe you won't have the full points on the other, like technical executions, the sculpt and presentation, but that should still give you a shot. So you should definitely participate. If not for the prizes, just for the experience as well. This kind of contests are really good to get to know more people, get the experience, see where you are. So yeah, when I participate in contests, I don't do it for the prize. I do it for the experience itself. If this thing appears in the game I'm playing, I honestly press. That's nice. That's good to hear. That means that we're going in a good direction here. Yeah, it's not bad for an idea, right? Like I think we created something really interesting right now. Can this be improved? Of course. Anything is improvable. So as a first sort of like sketch, like as a first idea for this contest or for this monster, I think we're in a good position here. I really like the contrast between bulky and thin. So he would have some really strong attacks, and then he will have some really strong slow attacks, and then some slow. Sharp Dash, what's up, man? Welcome back. That's if this thing, let's see. Purely, I only sculpted people. I'm afraid I won't be able to make monsters, but I'll try. That's the point. That's the point. By trying. Can I explain the event very quickly? You have to create a creature. It doesn't have to be a monster. There's a bunch of other creatures out there. But you have 1 month from here to October 30 to create a creature. We will be evaluating that creature. And the best, like the 2 best creatures will win. One of them is the community pick and the other one is the judges pick. The price is 250 USD gift card. And some free courses as well. There's some rules. I'm gonna be sharing these rules on the Discord channel as soon as we finish. It's already here on the what's the word? These rules are already here on the live stream. So if you're on YouTube, you can just go back and watch the first hour where we answer questions and we discuss all of the things. But all of this document that I have in Photoshop, I'm gonna be sharing as well. Do you have a C modeler course? Yes, Sansan. On the Oni course, the 2nd chapter, we talk about C modeler, and on several of the props of the Oni, we use C modeler quite a bit. So that's why I really like the Oni course, because the Oni course shows pretty much all of the tools that ZBrush has. So you can check that one. Do you have any basic knowledge of programming? Yes, I do blueprint programming for our VR experiences in Unreal. So I know the basic. I learned a little bit of Python when I was at school as well. I don't use it that one as much, but I know like the bare minimum to program games. At least with blueprints, right? Like very basic experiences, like simple stuff, but I do know the basics. Do I have a free ZBrush course? No, I don't have a free ZBrush course. I have a lot of free ZBrush videos if you want to check them out on the YouTube channel. But as for courses, the premium courses cover that a little bit more. How can I join your Discord? RG Arts is asking. There should be an invite showing up soon there on the YouTube chat. You can also check the comments or the description on the video. It should be there as well. You join, you need to wait a little bit. There's a waiting room. And then we'll let you in and you're going to be able to see all of the other channels. What about the ZBrush course on Skillshare? That's probably the one that I did when I was at Nextute. Those ones are fine, but they're a little bit outdated now because I did them a couple of years ago. And unfortunately, I don't get any more revenue from those. It's a little bit of a sad story there. But yeah, if you want to support this channel, the more up-to-date stuff is going to be on my site. Lord Telms there says the courses are worth the money. I really think they are. I really try to price them in a very fair way so that I offer you guys as much information and as much content as possible. Like, this information is things that I've gathered through the past 13 years. I've been using ZBrush since 2011, so I really think that you're getting like a good bang for your money. And that's one of the things that we were mentioning earlier, right? Like if you want to do this professionally, is it possible to do it completely for free, learning everything from YouTube? Yeah, sure, it is. But you're still gonna have to invest a little bit of money in things, right? So I was curious if your premium stuff ever went on sale or in abundance. We've had some sales in the past. We had some sale on our anniversary on June. We don't do sales often, and the reason why not is we want to save them for special occasions. Bundles, we are working on that. We're working on that. We might be able to offer some bundles soon, but no, right now we don't have any bundles. I must be the only one sculpting in Blender. Blender is fine, man. I love Blender as well. It's a very, very powerful software. Exactly, yeah, Fancy Peanut. You can just do like a sculpt. Yeah, I do recommend doing at least some poly paint or some like cool color presentation for the beauty render. But yeah, no need for full pipeline. This is more about the idea, the spirit of love for 3D, the competition. It's just to have fun, man. Like, we're not going to be evaluating wireframes and topology and things like that. But we are going to be evaluating poses. We're going to be evaluating silhouette. We're going to be evaluating forms, anatomy, composition, like that sort of stuff. That's important. If I have only sound knowledge of any software, but I used it in my portfolio work, it gets problematic for me? I'm not sure I understand. What do you mean by sound knowledge? You mean you know how to mix sound and like do music and stuff like that, or I'm not sure I understand. Okay, so see this thing right here? This is a problem. This side view that we have, very boring. We don't have much. So I'm gonna exaggerate some spikes here to have some cool side view as well. Because I really like this view right here. That looks interesting. But this one right here doesn't look as interesting. And you usually want to have like some big shapes, some smaller shapes. Like a mix of both. Like a mix of everything. So here, I feel like we're missing one small spike right there. And of course we're gonna, like, they're not gonna be completely straight spines. So we can like play around with some of the shapes and stuff. There we go. Only course is really worth it. Go for it. And also remember, you will be learning anatomy by exact biology words. Yeah, I'm gonna like I always try to include a little bit of anatomy when I'm doing characters, because I know people run away from anatomy. I also have the anatomy course, the one for Duncan. That one is like, hey, you know you want to learn anatomy, this is what you need to learn. And we go really in depth about like how things work. But the Oni course also covers a little bit. I learned OpenSCAD in the start of the year. I made some things there for 3D printing, mostly rings. Then I started learning Blender and then a bit of Rhino. Yeah. Is it easy to get a job as a character or creature artist who is new in the industry? If you're completely new, the honest answer is no. It's gonna be hard. Why? Because character artist is like the lead singer or like the lead guitarist of a band. Everyone wants to be a character artist or a creature artist. So it's gonna be a little bit more complicated for someone who's just starting. Is it possible? Yes, it's totally possible. But usually, I started not as a character artist. I started doing like props and things like that, and then I jumped into character stuff. So it really depends on your expertise, on your level, on your portfolio. But it is challenging. Like I'm gonna be completely honest. It is challenging. Really like this. So like a veil, kind of looks like a veil of skin here, like merging with the body. Go. This is a funny head. I do need to add the little bit of the nose right there. He's like, hey, what are you guys doing? What's happening here? Can't see anything. If a character is asymmetric in pose, how to do it? Exactly the same. Like this one, I'm doing asymmetric and in pose because I'm just focusing on the sculpt. But if you're doing this for production, you still do your B pose or your A pose. It's just gonna be asymmetrical. Yes, it's gonna take you a little bit longer to, what's the word, to retopo and to texture and everything, because it's double the work. But you do it exactly the same. Like nothing really changes. just some small little spikes here to sort of like blend the big spikes. Yeah, there you go, Dandy. That's a good excuse to learn ZBrush for iPad. Yeah. If I have only basic knowledge of any software tool, oh no, yeah, no, you. let's be real, guys. Okay, This is where I really encourage you guys to put yourself in the shoes of someone who is hiring, right? Like, imagine you are the head of hiring at Blizzard. Who are you going to hire? Someone who's just like graduated and has very basic knowledge, or someone who has 2 or 3 years of experience and has a more like strong portfolio? It's a no-brainer. You're always going to go for the person who's going to be able to give you the best possible result. So if you say, hey, I only have basic knowledge, am I going to get hired? At Blizzard? No. At Riot? No. At Bethesda? No. But are you going to be hired at a local studio that's just starting and he's looking for talent to grow as a team? Probably, yes. You have more chances there. So you got to be very honest with yourself. There's a quality bar out there. There's a quality bar of what people are doing. If you don't meet that quality bar yet, just be patient, keep learning, keep growing, and you might have a chance later on. Because I've seen a lot of people who are like mad at the industry and it's like, oh, I hate the 3D industry because I've worked my ass off for the past 2 or 3 years and no one's hiring me. And it's like, okay, can I take a look at your portfolio? And they show it to me. And it's a objectively bad portfolio. Like, it's missing a lot of stuff. There's bad topology, bad UVs, bad forms in an element. It's like, well, dude, I'm sorry that you've spent all this time. But the thing is, if we're brutally honest, this is not good. Like, you're gonna struggle to find a job because your stuff is not good. Now, you have 2 options. You fix that stuff and you prepare a better portfolio, or you just give up. That's it. Okay? And I know it sounds very harsh, but that's reality. And it happens in every other industry. Like, imagine you're a doctor and you want to get a job at the hospital and you don't know your stuff, right? So, or imagine you want to be a chef and you don't know how to cook. Well, you're not going to get hired by Gordon Ramsay, right? So it's very important that you guys understand that there are skill levels, and what you can like do for that skill level will determine where you might be able to work, or for what kind of projects you might be able to work. And it happens to everyone. Like, I don't have certain skills. So if I tried, for instance, to apply to Riot right now or to Blizzard, I don't have hand-painted skills to the level that I have my PBR or my sculpting, like realistic or more realistic sculpting skills. So the chances of me getting a job there are very, very low. If I say, hey, I want to work there and let me start working on that, let me start learning about those styles, polishing my skills, preparing a portfolio for that, then hey, I might have a chance later on. But you got to be brutally honest with yourself, and you got to understand that, unfortunately, in this world, business things are like, they're heartless. Like, no one cares about your feelings in business. No one cares about your story. No one cares about how you're the only one in your family that knows how to do this, and you've spent so much money and effort. It sucks. I hope that I wish that the world was not like that. But unfortunately, people don't care about that in the business world. They just care about results. Now, if you start going again into other areas, again, more indie stuff, more smaller teams, smaller productions, they might care about that. They might give you the shot. Like, there's this very cool place in the city here near me that they hire people with Down syndrome to like operate the whole like a place. I think it's like a coffee shop or something like that. And that's very commendable, because a lot of people and a lot of other businesses would never take the chance or the risk on hiring someone who has that condition, because they just don't care about that kind of stuff, right? So you just gotta be very, very, again, very honest with yourself about where you are right now, what your goal is, and how you want to get to the next level. And it's hard work, it's effort, it's time, it's energy, it's everything. That's another thing. It's like, people will come to me and it's like, oh, I'm not getting hired. And I ask them, how long or how often are you practicing your 3D or updating your skills? It's like, no, I haven't done any 3D in the past 3 months. Like, shit, dude, how do you want me to help you there? It's very, very difficult, right? It's very difficult to help someone who's not putting in the work. So AI is not going to take the job, man. You guys, see, that's another, and this is a personal pet peeve of me. I'm gonna go full screen because I'm gonna go ballistic now. I hate that people are bringing AI as the excuse or as one of the excuses of, oh, I'm just gonna give up now because AI is gonna take my job. Is it taking your job right now, like today or tomorrow? I don't see that. Have I seen the impact of AI in the industry? Yes. Is it bad? Yes. But is it like destroying the whole industry? No. And actually, there's been this sort of like backlash nowadays where people are realizing, hey, AI is not really solving the issues we thought it was going to solve. So if you are seeing AI as like, here's where things are going to get like intense. If AI is the reason why you think you're not going to succeed, then I'm telling you right now, you're not going to succeed. Because AI is not the only thing that makes this career difficult. There's a bunch of other things out there. Okay, so if you're just giving up because AI is doing some stuff, this might not be the industry for you. Because here's the thing, even with AI, those of us who believe in creating stuff with our mind, our soul, our feelings and everything, will continue to do so. Even if AI destroys one part of the industry, there will still be a part of the industry that still does things traditionally. And you can see this in every other industry. So you need to be strong-willed enough to understand that, yes, there will be things that come and there will be things that make it very scary to be part of this industry. But it's your will. It's your decision at the end of the day if you want to continue doing this or not. If there comes to a point where you're like, hey, yeah, that's it. I'm out. I don't want to continue doing this. Fair enough. And props to you. But for those of us that still want to do it, like, I'm not going to worry about AI. I'm going to continue to sculpt. I'm going to use AI as a tool if I need to, but I'm not just going to abandon my dream and my passion because of something else, of someone else doing something similar. So, yeah, if AI gets to a point they can employ hosted workers, then ours losing their job is going to be the last of it. Exactly, as Pablo is saying right there. Like, if there comes to a point where someone can go into their computer and be like, create a AAA game of a fantasy warrior that does this and this and that, and they hit enter, and in a couple of hours they have a playable game, we have way different problems at that point. Like, way different problems as a society, not as an artist. As a society and as an industry in general, there's other things that we need to worry about at that point. It's my first time in the stream. Is a contest? No. The contest is for everyone. It's completely open to everyone, guys. No one gets a special treatment or anything. I'm gonna clip that. Don't worry, Rixu. that bit is gonna be going on the socials in the next couple of days. Yeah, exactly. It's very similar. Like, and again, that's where you gotta understand. It's, oh my god, it's complicated, right? But you gotta understand, why do you do the things that you do, right? Like, are you doing 3D for the money? Like, do you want to do 3D to be paid? I'm telling you right now, go and look for something else. Because even though there is money to be made here in the 3D world, it's not the industry that's gonna make you a millionaire and billionaire buying freaking Lamborghinis and things like that. This is not the place to do that. So if you're doing this for the money and you're scared of AI taking away that money, yeah, you should be, because that's not why you should be doing this. You should be doing this because you feel passionate about the creation process. You feel passionate about the people you work with. You feel passionate about the project that you're doing, the response that you're getting from the audience or from the public that are seeing this kind of stuff. That's what should drive you, right? And if that drives you, then it doesn't matter if AI comes and does the same thing, because you can still keep doing that. Yes, your market might be smaller. Yes, it might be more complicated in certain things, but you should still be able to do art because you love to do art. And it could be 3D, it could be traditional, it could be digital, it could be realistic, it could be stylized. Like, there's so many things out there that you can do. And here's where I'm gonna get a little bit again philosophical. I truly believe that the life that we get is so valuable and so sacred. And we only have one shot to really get the best out of it. So if you're gonna give up because of AI, because of the situation with like studios and things like that, because of whatever it is you're complaining today, not you specifically, I'm not like pointing anyone out, but like, don't do it. Just go for it. Try it out. And if it doesn't work, you're not gonna die. You can find something else, right? Like, of course, I would not tell you, hey, sell your house, sell everything you have, and give it a shot to be a 3D artist. That's like financially irresponsible. But it's very important that you understand that there is a reason, and this is what goes back to what I was saying earlier today. Most of you guys are very young. I still consider myself to be quite young. I'm just 32. So if in 10 years this is no longer an industry, don't worry. You can bet that I'm still gonna be creating something. Maybe not in this medium. Maybe I'm gonna be, I don't know, like a traditional sculptor, or I'll be a painter, or I'll write my books or whatever. I don't know, but I'll still be creating because that's what I feel passionate about doing. Okay, so that's my advice. Find what makes you passionate about something and pursue that something, and don't give up. Be smart. Be attentive at what's going on, right? Like, I'm not saying just blindly follow your dreams. No, you gotta have a plan, and you gotta see when things are not like turning the way you think they should. Then yeah, make some decisions, make some adjustments. If this is not working, you gotta be able to let go and be like, okay, you know what? I failed. This didn't work. I need to start over. I need to do it again. I need to find something. Actually, I was waiting to share this news, but I think this is a perfect point to do so, because people have been asking about the environment course. I got a little bit of a bad news. I failed on the environment course. I was doing it. I've recorded about 15 hours of the course. It was not working. It was just like, this is shit. Like, well, it's not the shit. The content was fine, but the flow was not working. The ideas were not matching. It was just like, I was not feeling comfortable with that product, with that course. So I talked to David and we canceled it. It's like, it's not gonna work this one. I'm gonna work on the next one. Like it's not abandoned. It's not a course that's never gonna come out, but it's gonna take a little bit more time. And the best way I can like explain this is, imagine a musician writing a song and the song's just not working. For me right now, the course was not working, so I made the decision, I'm gonna stop working on this course. I'm gonna work on a couple of other things first, and then I'll come back to it and I'll do a better job. Okay? But it happens, and you need to be, I think, honest enough again with yourself to be like, hey, if this is not working, let's look for another part. Okay? So for those of you who were asking about the environment course, unfortunately, the one that I was working on was not working. It was just not matching my quality expectations and what I wanted to share. So it's coming. It's the next one. Well, we have a small course coming, and then that's the one that's gonna go next, because I'm like picking up the ideas, tweaking up, polishing things, because I want to make sure that I can provide you with the best possible things. But again, that felt like a failure to me. It feels like a failure. It feels like I really like dropped the ball there. And what's the best thing I can do? Learn from it. Learn from it and like do better next time. Let's see. I got burnt out earlier this year because I was putting pressure to constantly make portfolio worthy pieces. I've only just managed to remember the real reason why I make art, because it's fun. Yeah, exactly. You always gotta, like, of course we do this as a job, and of course we need to sustain ourselves, sustain our families, but we also need to remember why we do this. If you forget that, it's very, very important that you take a step back, take a breather, just like get a little bit of rest and be like, okay, this is why I'm doing it. There you go, Casey. Says, unlike graphic design and my other occupations, I have yet to experience any sort of burnout with 3D, so I knew I found my passion. Yeah, for instance, I've shared this before, I found my passion in this, teaching. I love sharing this sort of stuff. I love learning about something and then sharing that with you guys. That's what I found my passion in. So it's very, very important. There's a very interesting thing. It's a Japanese term. My wife taught this to me. She's a master's in psychology, so she knows a lot about this stuff. And it's called Ikigai. Have you guys heard of that? I've mentioned this before, but maybe it's the first time you guys are hearing this. It's called Ikigai. So Ikigai is this concept. Again, it's a Japanese concept that talks about 4 things. It's what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. So if you find something that fills these 4 elements, you've hit like the jackpot. In that thing, it's called Ikigai. So what you love and what you're good at, that's your passion. What you love and what the world needs, that's your mission. What the world needs and what you can be paid for, that's your vocation. What you can be paid for and what you're good at, that's your profession. And if you combine all of them right there, that's Ikigai. That's like, poof. Again, like that's hitting the jackpot. Unfortunately, a lot of people have not really even asked themselves about this sort of stuff. So I encourage you guys to explore this concept because it's really, really, really cool. And once you find that, or you get close to that like perfect spot of all of these things that make up what you like, what you love, what you're good at, it's such a fulfilling feeling, right? Like it feels so fulfilling to be able to say this right here matches exactly what I'm looking for. And to me, this teaching about 3D, it's like, I've been told that I'm good at teaching. I love 3D. I feel like people need to learn about 3D in a specific way, which is the way I like to teach, and I can make a living out of this. So for me, doing this is so important. Let's see. I bought some process videos from Patreon. I do exactly what Master do, but thing for me still not change. We need to see what's going on there on the learning process, 04877, because there might be a disconnection between what you're learning and how you're applying that. Does the world need 3D? I think the world needs, it's not 3D Pahadi that the world needs, but I think the world needs passionate people doing things. And if entertainment is something that you can show your passion through, I feel like that is one of the things that gives people more things to, you know, to look for and to strive for. So yes, I do think and that's the thing. Like, I hate that we sometimes use the word entertainment about 3D, because entertainment feels very commercial. I'm sure you guys share this, as I do. How many of you have played the game, read a book, watched a movie, heard a song that changed your life or the way you see things? I have experienced that a lot of times, and I constantly look for that sort of experiences, things that really change the way you see the world. And that's entertainment, that's art, changing your perspective. So if you ask me, do we need that? Fuck yeah, we do. Like, of course we do that. We need that sort of stuff. It's very, very important for us as humans to have those experiences, because those are the experiences that evolve our mindsets and change the way we see the world, right? So yeah, do we need art? Do we need entertainment? Yes, we do. If 3D died, would you still teach but other mediums, or would you take some? Yeah, no, I would teach other mediums. Yeah, I would. Again, like, one of the things that I would love to do eventually is traditional sculpt. I've done it before as part of my classes. I've never done it professionally, but I've done it before, and it's very, very fun. And it's the same thing. It's forms, it's anatomy, it's gesture, it's story, it's all of these things. So I would probably, yeah, I would just do traditional art or something like that. The world needs more passion and celebration of creativity, a form of self-expression that oftentimes we're locked out of growing up in life because we'll... Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, you guys are bringing some really deep points now. We went from monsters and creatures to philosophy and the meaning of art. The hardest part is to learn thinking pattern from master artists. Yes, it definitely is. It's a complicated part, 048. And that comes a lot with experience. I always mention that art is like wine. The longer you do it and the longer you practice it, the more sort of like it goes into your mind and like, again, grows and develops. I learned the word impale in Mortal Kombat when I was a kid. Raiden said impaled Baraka with your soul. I had to look it up in the dictionary. You want to hear a fun story? Here in Mexico, they started teaching English in schools. When I was in primary school, they were starting that sort of stuff. Now my little kid, she's in kindergarten and she's already learning English. I'm gonna be, of course, teaching her more English later. But it's like a very like common language everywhere, right, in the world. But in Mexico, they're really making a push to make sure everyone learns it because we're so close to the US. And when I was in 4th grade, I remember very clearly, we had a section on the English book, and it was about like knights and castles and swords and arrows, all that sort of stuff, like medieval stuff, right? Like, it was like the chapter about medieval stuff, because usually in kids' English books, they always like divide things by themes, right? So that was the theme for that specific chapter. And it was very funny because it was a small group. We were like 20 probably, and half of us were kids, like boys. And we all knew the words because we had been playing like Legend of Zelda, so we knew what the words meant. And all of our like all the girls in the classroom, they didn't know. They were like, what's a sword, what's a shield? I don't know, because they were not used to that type of content. So yeah, even video games can be educational, like they can be a way to educate people. Oh, there was this game when I was younger as well. This was a Spanish game, and it was just like, it taught you about like language and numbers and math and that sort of stuff. And I remember playing that game so many times. It was so cool with like riddles and things. I'll try to see if I can find. It was one of those like flash games that they sold you at like Office Depot, but my parents got them and for us, and we used to play the shit out of those. Yeah, there's a very famous quote. I'm gonna see if I can find it. There's a very famous quote about in the. Have you seen this movie, guys? If you haven't seen it, it's a really powerful movie as well. It's called Dead Poets Society. It was by Robin Williams. There's a bunch of like really famous actors here, but when this movie was done, 1989, they were not as famous. So there's like this guy right here went on to be like on Doctor House, I think. There's also, no, that guy's not Doctor House. This one's Wilson from Doctor House. That guy is Ethan Hawke. He was also sort of like an unknown name at the time. Robin Williams, of course, like some really big guys back then. There we go. Ethan Hawke, Robin Williams. Yeah, some guys, some strong people there. It's a really powerful movie, and there's a very like good scene where Robin Williams, he's like a poetry teacher, and he talks about that. He talks about how poetry is valuable because it brings the emotions. It can connect with people in so many different ways, and the same thing can be said about pretty much anything. Did you suggest any Netflix shows or movies that will help with creative thinking or inspiration for that one that I just mentioned? Freaking amazing. I mean, and it's not just for art, it's for life. Like, that's a life movie right there. So good. Yeah, House MD is a very cool show, I agree. I'm not sure what I'm doing with this hand right here. So I like that sort of like dagger shape. Then I feel like it's very thin right here, so I'm probably gonna add more volume here. Any cool shows? Love, Death and Robot. I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's really good. Arcane, of course, is really good as well. How do you stay motivated? You gotta enjoy the journey. The journey before destination. If someone knows where that quote is from, I'll give you a point. Yeah, you gotta enjoy the journey. That's it. Like, you gotta understand that the things that matter will take time. And it's about that like time and that journey and how you use it to create that thing. Like the Oni, right? Like the Oni is like a 20-hour course. And I know it's not for everyone. Like, people quit the Oni course because they feel it's too much time. But I've seen the work from those who finish the course, and it's night and day because they really put in the time. And it's very, very important that you understand that in this 3D world, things that really matter will take time. That's why one of the big things that I always recommend on portfolio review is don't ever upload something that you finish in a day. Like, why would you do that? Like, it doesn't show anything special. It's very difficult to do something in a day and it'd be freaking amazing. Later on, when you get better, then yes, but like, I would never upload this as my portfolio piece. And I've seen people who do things like that. They just do like a quick sketch or something and they upload that as their portfolio piece. And it's like, why are you doing that? It's not gonna help you. There you go. Thanks for the sub, man. Cerevis says, I've just started learning 3D after being involved with 2D art and graphic design for over a decade, and my appreciation for what you guys do has grown tenfold. I've got a long way to go before I think I can even begin thinking about character sculpting, but I've been watching your YouTube videos and portfolio reviews every day, and you've got a very inspiring manner about your words. I'm excited to be able to do. Oh, well, welcome to the team, my friend. Welcome to the club, and I hope that this thing that you're now discovering, the 3D world, gives you a lot of like passion to pursue and do more cool stuff. It's not an easy path, right? Like it, as with everything in life, it requires a skill, it requires effort and things like that. But I'm really glad that you found us then, and that you're liking the content so far, because hopefully that content is gonna allow you to to skip a lot of the things that I had to learn. Like that, I've mentioned this with David and pretty much everyone that asks me about this. Like, why do you teach? Because I want people to be able to do awesome things. And I don't want them to spend as much time as I had to learning all of the like little details that sometimes are difficult to learn. Yes, you're still gonna have to invest some time. Like, it's not something that's gonna magically happen from one day to the other. But you should be able to at least get a couple of like, you should be able to save a little bit of time. Like, I know I've been doing this for 13 years. I hope that it doesn't take you 13 years to get to the point where I'm at right now. And that's why I do, or I share the content that I share. Because I want to save you guys that time and show you the things that have worked for me and the things that have not worked for me, so that you can get to your goal in the best possible way. The only course, Emmanuel Johnson, is this course right here. It's a ZBrush course where I show you how to do this character, and you can find it on my website. So if you go to leal3d.com, this is where we have, hey, I had moved this thing. This is where we have these things right here, all of the courses. And this is one of them. So the ZBrush stylized characters is how many hours? 21.5 hours on the full process. The first 2 chapters are for the basic introduction to ZBrush. There's a couple of free previews if you want to see them before you decide to get the course, and then it's all of these things right here, all of these things. So everything that you see here on the screenshots, I show you how to do inside the course. And this is just one of the courses that I have here on my site. There's of course more specialized tools, but usually for people who are just starting their 3D journey, I recommend this 3 right here: the Maya course, the Blender course, or the ZBrush course. Those are like a really good starting point. Once you get the hang of it and you want to like specialize in more specific things about the production, such as retopology, textures, cloth, anatomy, that's when the secondary courses come in pretty much. But yeah, that's it. You can also find the information here in the description of the video. And one thing we haven't done is we haven't saved. That's very dangerous because we've been working on this for a long time now. And I just remembered that we haven't saved. My God, imagine if this crashed. I mean, I'm pretty sure we have some like quick save or something. But let's go here. Abomination? What's that? What the hell is this? I'm gonna save it there. Let's call this the Ape Abomination. See what I did there? Ape Abomination. Oh, that's stupid, but let's see. Already noticed significant improvement in my work just from the first 2 chapters of the Oni course. There you go. Moose the Dumb. Hopefully you're gonna be Moose the Master soon. Can I learn anatomy from the Oni course? Yes, we do cover a little bit of anatomy, but it's not as in-depth as the anatomy course because a lot of things are covered and things like that. But yeah. Hey, Van ZBrush, what is it better, to save the tools or save the files? I keep saving files, but I see you save more tools. Yeah, so the problem with saving a file, that's a great question, by the way, is when you save a project, like if you go here to File and then Save As, you're going to save this as CPR, C project. It will save all of the tools that you have right here. So it will save the Abomination, this like 3D scan that I accidentally opened, and this skin CC right here. So I feel like it contaminates your save files quite a bit, especially when you're doing a lot of I don't know, like booleans and things like that. It just saves a lot of stuff, and I prefer to save as a C tool because it only saves the individual tool that you're working on. Is your anatomy course program agnostic? Yes, you can learn anatomy, you can do it in Blender. I use ZBrush, you can do Blender, you can do 3D Code because I teach the principles of anatomy as well as the principles of Sculpt. Later on, maybe chapters 7 and 8, when I prepared for 3D print, because I've shown this before. You guys haven't shown like Duncan recently. Give me 1 second. Whoop. So as part of the anatomy course, we 3D print the guy as well. So I show you how to prepare this for 3D print. And this is a 1/4 scale like representation of Duncan. So that sort of stuff, like the 3D printing stuff, the keys, the booleans, the preparation, decimation, all that stuff, that might not be program agnostic. So you might not find those exact tools on the ZBrush course. But all of the anatomy stuff should be done, or should be transferable though. Yeah, right. That's a cool print. That's Duncan right there. That one, we got sponsored. Well, not. What, is it a sponsorship or was it a? How do you? Yeah, it's called a sponsorship. by Elegoo. So Elegoo provided the printer. They sent me the printer. They sent me the resin, and we promised that we were going to be printing a big scale figure. So we did Duncan there. Yeah, I think I like this. I think it's a good one. Kind of want to bring the mouth down a little bit as well. There we go, something like that. It's a little bit more monster-like, right? Collaboration, there you go. It was a collaboration. Yeah, that's the right word. How can I share my portfolio? We open portfolio reviews at the beginning of each month. So the October portfolio review will be open in the next couple of weeks. We'll let people know. The best thing that you can do is join the Discord channel so that you get the advice right there. I don't think we'll 10 million is too much, man. Like I like our goal right now is to get to a 100k. That's when you get the little like YouTube button. That would be very cool. Again, it's not my goal. This is like the consequence of the journey, right? Like I don't really care about the number. I care about the content that I create and the community that we're building, which is amazing, by the way. You guys have made this such an amazing dream. But if there's a goal that we have here in YouTube is to get to 100k so that we get the little like a YouTube gold button. Can we use old paints on FDM 3D prints? No, I don't. I mean, you can. You still need to prime them. I don't recommend it though. They take a long time to dry. Usually acrylics is what people use for 3D prints. Can you also listen into those portfolio reviews? Yeah. All of those are for free, Wolf. So every month we do a portfolio review, and actually the reruns are up on YouTube if you want to watch them. And the next one on October is going to be at the end of October. I'm still not sure exactly on the date, but it's going to be on the end of October. I kind of want this claw to be toxic, so maybe some like pustules and things like that. I don't know. Is that too much? It might be too much. I think it's fine. Doesn't look too intense. I just watched your skin wrinkles video, man. Pretty cool and simple. Thanks for that. You're welcome, Harnath. You're welcome. Yeah, we got a lot of free content on the YouTube channel. But the best way to support is to subscribe. You know, you guys know that like 65% or 75% of the people that watch our videos on YouTube are not subscribed. Like, why? It's free. It helps us. Yeah, so if you want to subscribe there on the YouTube channel, that really helps. It helps with the algorithm. That's the problem. Like if the algorithm doesn't see any interactions, they just kill the videos. There's like, oh, I'm not gonna show it to anyone. And then I get like a message 6 months after. It's like, oh my god, this is so good. Why wasn't I shown it? Or why wasn't it shown to me? Oh, because you probably didn't subscribe. Well, we try to upload videos and shorts all the time. Your review on live action 3D? What do you mean? Yeah, more likes is more exposure as well. So if you like and you subscribe, all that really helps, guys. If you share, if you save, like all of the interactions are fine. Again, we're happy with the growth. Don't get me wrong. But if you are asking how you can help more, those type of interactions really help. Oh yeah, that's great, El Carpintero. That's great, yeah. Yeah, you can definitely do CNC with Blender. You do the model and I've never done CNC, but I know that it's similar to 3D print, right? So do you think TikTok is a good way to get exposure for 3D? Nah. Well, I don't like TikTok. We've been uploading to TikTok for the past year and it just doesn't take off, to be honest. We've had a couple of hits here and there, but no, TikTok is more like for gossip and things, I feel. Awesome, yeah. Send us your stuff once you do, El Carpintero. That'll be very cool to see how 3D is used for woodwork. Oh, you're from Mexico? Nice. What part of Mexico? I'm from Saltillo. Yo soy de Saltillo, mi estimado. Aquí andamos. If I like a channel, I usually just subscribe. Your channel is literally the only thing I have all the bells and whistles on. There you go. Thank you, Wolf Girl. San Luis, there you go. You're not too far from us. Or from me. David is from Georgia, though. See, on the other side of the world. There we go. Let's see. Ah, there you go, Casey. Yeah. We should have a little bit more likes today. Yeah, streams are usually a good, usually have good views. I'm very, very slow. What can I do to make things fast? Practice. That's the only way to do it. Practice. The more you practice, the more efficient you become. Now, if you're asking for specific things about the 3D world, you might want to look into shortcuts. So if you're spending too much time navigating your interface, you might want to use some more shortcuts. That speeds up the process quite a bit. But again, like one of the things that I find about like being slow with something, when we're slow at something, it's because we don't trust ourselves enough. So that means that you need to practice more. So if you know where tools are, if you know the process, if you know the steps, you become more proficient at it. It's part of this. If I ever come to Mexico, I want to meet you, Sarah. Yeah. I mean, there's not a lot to see here at my hometown, but yeah, we can find something. Yeah, thank you, Sansan. Yeah, if you guys like the video right now, if you're watching the stream and you like that, that really helps. Yeah, so there we go, guys. I mean, not bad. We're about to get to the end of the stream. Again, I'm gonna leave this stream on. Normally, I edit it and move some things and change it, but I'm gonna leave this one on in YouTube because I know people are gonna be asking about the contest, so this one's gonna be there. I'm just gonna change the thumbnail probably for something a little bit more interesting. And let's use this last couple of minutes to ask any more questions. Let's do a quick recap of the contest so that you guys are all aware, especially for those of you that entered a little bit later today in the stream. And yeah, there we go. ¿Qué tomaste en cuenta para elegir una comunidad en inglés en vez de español? Quiero hacer contenido y no sé qué público dirigirme. For me personally, is that most people knew me from my time of Nextdude and some of the other like tutorials that I've done, and most of the stuff that I've done, Demian, has been in English. So most of my students and most of my context and everything has been in English. English is also a more universal thing. However, Spanish is not a bad like market if you want to, or community if you want to see it that way. Like there's a lot of people that want to learn about 3D and might not have as much expertise with the English language. I always encourage everyone to learn English because that's the universal language, especially for our industry. But yeah, if you want to start something, like I would tell you to pick the one that you feel more comfortable with. That's it. I honestly feel more comfortable doing it in English nowadays. I might do some content in Spanish later on. I still do some content in Spanish, like I still teach at universities here in Spanish, and some of the events that I do here are in Spanish. But yeah, just pick whatever you feel more comfortable with, would be my advice. Kosakisu says, I have a really hard time on making hard surface in ZBrush like armor. I never get the feeling of it being flat, so I go for Blender when, yeah, I do that back and forth all the time. No shame in that. There's some people out there that are really good at making like hard surface in ZBrush. I'm also not one of those. I am proficient at it, but most of the stuff I'll just traditionally polymodel. Character posing, yes, Robner, look for gesture drawing. Gesture drawing is an excellent way to understand how the figure and the forms flow to generate something cool. But what do you think about the Ape Abomination right now? Not bad, right? Not thinking bad for a creature. Yeah, or the other way around. You could do content in English and then have subtitles in Spanish. Okay, so my whole setup just fell. All of my cables fell down there. Let's go very quickly over the contest right here, especially for those of you who arrived a little bit late and you didn't see anything. Do you recommend Topicon compared to Maya or even Blender? Yes, Moose. Like, it's an amazing software. I was recently, I'm doing a personal work, a character for myself, and I retoped it in. It's a female character. She has like 20 different props, and I did all the retoping in like 2 days. So it's really good. So Creatures Unleashed, this is our new community contest. It's the 3D contest that we're providing here at the Leal 3D community. So there we go. This stream began a couple of hours ago. We've been doing this for 3 hours now, El Carpintero. So the goal, the mission for this contest is to design and create your own creature and its story. Share it with the world and win. What are the prizes? We got a grand prize for 2 winners. It's going to be a judge's pick, so we're going to pick it with internally, and there's going to be a community pick. Both of them are going to be winning 250 USD and a free course of your picking from our site. The 3 finalists, they're going to be also 3 finalists who are going to win a free course and a free one-on-one session with me. So yeah, that's pretty much it. How are we gonna, the rules, sorry, before that. So what is it about this? You're gonna submit 3 images and 1 little story of your character or creature, It's gonna be a presentation render. You can use post-production, you can add stuff, you can add a lot of things, but that's pretty much it. And you need to do a clean render, so just a clay render, and a 3-view render, so front view, side view, back view of your character with something that we call the proof render. All of this is going to be on Discord, so if you have questions, don't worry, wait for this information to be on Discord and I'll be happy to clarify anything else. The story has to be 500 words maximum. It's just a little bit of the background of who this character or creature is and how you came up with it, or what the powers or whatever it has. No safe for work, so no nudity, no extreme war, please, and failing to adhere to any of these rules will disqualify you, okay? All of these things right here, we already talked about. There's going to be some questions that we're going to answer in just a second, but we had a full 1-hour discussion at the beginning of this stream, so if you have questions, go back there where we explain this more clearly one by one. I've been streaming. This channel started last year in June, El Carpintero, but I've been doing YouTube and tutorials for the past like 6 years already. So I've been doing this for a while now. Deadline, October 30, Discord event forum, 11:59 p.m. Mexico time. Make sure you submit before the time or the post closes. We're going to have a live review of the qualifying submissions on November 1, just talking about them, what we like, what we don't like, what we change, what we would appreciate, all that stuff. And the official winners announcement will be on a video on November 6. So that's pretty much it. What are we going to evaluate? We're going to be evaluating 5 different branches of things: the presentation or final render, composition, light, storytelling, all that sort of stuff. Your sculpt with your clay render, how clean it is, your forms, anatomy, silhouette, idea, stuff like that. Technical execution, how well you utilize the softwares. We're going to be doing a review of the story in the background, and your design and creativity of the general creature. How do you make a 3-view render and show the software's interface? No, it's not it's very simple. It's very simple. So, for instance, this right here, like this, would be like a 3-view render. So you just duplicate your object and you show me all of the views. This is for the proof render. In here in ZBrush, you're gonna use, or you can use the C plugin, which is the text 3D vector shape, and just create a new text. It's gonna say Ave Leal, and then monsters or creatures unleashed. So imagine this is my final, what's the word? It's my final creature. So just doing something like this, just so that I know that it's your actual work. This is so that we avoid any people plagiarizing someone else's work. So something like this. Also to add in render event, yeah, like that. This is the proof render right here. Okay, so we would have something like this, like the 3D text and the showcase of your name or your username and the name of the event, so that we know that this is yours. Like you actually did the sculpt and you didn't just take it from someone on the internet and submit it as yours. So it's a little bit of a safety measure right there. So all of those things are going to be the things that we're going to be evaluating. This is what you want to submit. Just one post, your 3 images and your text. So it's 4 things, 3 images and your text. If you fail this, if you do not submit 3 images, you're out. If you do not submit the text, you're out. If you submit more than 3 images, you're out. So all of these things are important. Purely modeling, no animation. You can post it, you can present it in the best way you can, but just the pictures. We don't want any animations. Some of the common questions: what is a creature? A fictional or imaginary being, usually a non-human. So you can have a humanoid character, but it shouldn't be just like a character with a horn and a scar. Like that's not a creature. That's just a character. Is a human with horns and scars a creature? The definition of a creature is very subjective. You can do a humanoid creature. However, your score in the sign and story might be affected. Be creative. An orc, a goblin, or a basic alien might not be as appealing. You won't be disqualified if you do one of those, but you might have a hard time winning or getting to the top submissions, because it's just something that we've seen all the time. What are the examples of creatures? Aliens, monsters, beasts, demons, trolls, fantasy, sci-fi, noir, gothic. So there's a bunch of ideas out there. Role-playing games have a lot of stuff as well that you can use for inspiration. Not copy, inspiration. It should be an original creation of yours. What if I exceed the resolution text or submit more than 3 pictures? Your submission will be disqualified. You won't be able to participate. It's only 3 images and your little 500-word max story. Follow the rules. Do I need to retopo and texture? You don't need to. It's not required, but if you want to do it, if you want to do the full process and it helps for your final presentation, go for it. Can I use an existing IP like Marvel or DC? Can I do fan art? It's not recommended as it won't be completely original. However, it won't cause a disqualification if you decide to do so. Again, just keep in mind that it might not give you as many points because it's not original. Does it have to be realistic style? Nope. You can do like a whimsical, you can do fantasy, you can do hand painted, you can do realistic, you can do PVR, you can do whatever you want. It could be a cute creature, it could be a funny creature, it could be a whimsical creature. Like there's no limit on that sort of stuff. The text could be in Spanish. What text? The story? No, it should be in English because we're going to be presenting them to an English-speaking audience. So please translate it. Like you can write it in Spanish and just use a translator and check that it flows nicely. Can I render in 4K? Yes, you can render in 4K, but the image that you submit has to be scaled down to 1920 by 1080 Full HD. If the image that you submit is bigger than 1920 by 1080, you will be disqualified as well. How long should the story be? Roughly 2 or 3 paragraphs at most, maximum 500 words. Can I submit the previous artwork? No, the work that you submit should be an original submission. It should be created for this event or contest. If we find out that you are reusing artworks or you are taking someone else's artwork, you will be disqualified. Can I use base meshes? Can I use X software, X, Y, C, any of the other softwares? Yes, you can use any tools at your disposal. You decide what helps you the most in achieving a great result. How do you find out? Believe me, I might not find out. You might be able to like trick me, but the community here is really good at being a detective. So if people realize like, hey, this dude used this character like 2 years ago for this other project, you will be disqualified. Okay? So, and again, the spirit of this competition, Maxwag, is for people to do this from scratch. Okay? So it's for you to learn. The only one you're cheating yourself if you submit something that you've done before, it's yourself. Now, if you have a hidden alien or a hidden creature that you did 10 years ago and you never showed it anywhere, I mean, yeah, it's gonna be impossible for me to know, right? But like the community tends to be pretty smart about this. Can I use AI? No, nope, you cannot. You may use AI for image enhancement, such as upscaling or noise removal or things like that, but not for 3D generation. Using AI in unethical ways will cause a disqualification. Can I work in a team? No. The submissions for the teams or the submissions are individual. You can, of course, share your stuff, ask for advice, do stuff like that, but your submission will be individual, and therefore the work at the end should be individual. So that's pretty much it, guys. Those are the questions that we asked. Just a final disclaimer here. The objective of this contest is to have fun, learn, and share our love for 3D. Cheating, toxicity, negative behavior, and harassing will not be tolerated and will result in a ban from our community and contest. By participating on the contest, you agree to have your work shared in our network, so we might be sharing some stuff on the shorts, on the channel, you know, like sharing with the community to show people what everyone else is doing, just as a way to, of course, bring more eyes to all of this like project that you guys are going to be working on. And of course, you guys retain all rights to your work at all times. Like, you don't have to send the files, you don't have to sell the models, you don't have to do anything. This is just a way to show your work. It's not in any way, shape, or form a way for me to take like ownership of that stuff. Of course, that's never going to happen. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. With this, we are now at the end of today's stream. Thank you everyone for coming. If you want to like listen or check some of the other questions and answers we got at the beginning of the stream, please go check the YouTube channel. This video is going to be there as soon as this thing finishes, and start working on it. Start working on your project. Make sure to share some stuff, tag your friends, do whatever you want to create some amazing things here for this contest. And I'll be seeing you back very soon with more information here on the channel. We're gonna have new courses coming, we're gonna have new shorts, new videos, you know, all the fun stuff. We're also preparing some collaborations soon with some other streamers, so that might be happening very soon as well. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. If you want to support the channel, the best way you can do it, of course, is by liking, sharing, subscribing, and checking our premium courses on our site. Thank you, Sarn, here for the support on the chats. Thank you, everyone. Casey, Operator, Scott Lee, Kosaku, Maxwag, Solid Mango, everyone, El Carpintero. Nice to meet you as well, my friend. Thanks, everyone. Farewell. Have a great weekend. Enjoy some rest. Have some fun doing some 3D stuff. And I'll see you back on the next one. Don't forget, always learning, always improving. Bye-bye.